Hey, T-Zippers. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, T-Zippers. Hey, hey, T-Zippers. Hey. Hey, T-Zippers. Come on in. Come on in. It's time to spin the bin. Mm. Come on in. I know I'm late to the party. Baby, but if y'all would have been in that members only live last night, I think you kind of might would have understand. Baby, when I tell you that live was, yeah, it kind of would leave you speechless. I tried to get y'all, oh, there go that notification. Hopefully y'all start getting the notifications. I don't know what happened. But the problems I was having yesterday with my desktop, whereas it wouldn't give me, still not letting me have internet access. I don't know. I don't know if I have too much stuff on it. I don't know. But because the troubleshooting that didn't fix that, fixed some capabilities that I was missing here. Heck, on my tablet too. I'm seeing stuff I hadn't seen before. Hey, Specs Don. I'm trying to explain. I am just too overwhelmed still from last night. It's just, whoa. Oh my God. When I tell y'all, it is just way too much. It is just way too much. And I'm still kind of blown back with some things that I uncovered today based off of last night. You may want to get a membership. And shout out to, I think it was Kane Life who blessed us with some memberships. I think like 5, and allowed some people who didn't have a membership to be able to tap in last night. But it was indeed an eye opener. And I just don't know how they're going to be able to pull this off. Bringing, hey, Satoria, y'all may want to invest in a membership. Listen, I don't know how they finna pull this off. I don't know how. I mean, with everybody that we now know, I mean, and we don't even know everybody, but the few people that we know that are involved, I don't know how they finna pull this off. And I really believe in my heart of hearts that Clinton is working with them. The left, who is really wanting it to be exposed. And I guess if it means exposing himself, but he's not gonna do it. This is just my opinion, where they can switch the story around to try to save Donald Trump. They're not gonna go that route. I can tell you that now. So maybe he is working on a sweetheart deal for himself, like Trump did for Epstein. I don't know. But I do know it has to come to an end. And the Making America Great Again is, can I say it? Can I say it? It's ucked up. They some ucked up individuals. there's another part of that story that we was listening to last night. The young man's testimony. Well, he's not young anymore. I think he's in his 50s. That I haven't listened to, but I'm gonna check it out. I may do another members only with it, you know. But anyway, let's listen to this. I'm gonna tap into Candace. I'm trying to catch up. I'm behind. I'm behind. Yes, last night was a doozy. But let me hear this. Let me hear this.
I've witnessed many crises in my lifetime, but few have shaken me like the revelations that emerged in 2026 about President Donald.
Baby, when he said revelations, he ain't lying. He is not lying. It is indeed some revelations that have, baby. Y'all listen, them Epstein files, I think, are far worse than what we thought. And I don't think that there's enough empathy in the world to even imagine what them kids went through. There's not enough empathy in the world. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And I thank God he survived. I thank God they all survived. But I don't think we have heard a story. I know I haven't. Somebody sent me a message to check out another young lady's story. I didn't listen to it, but I will. I've not heard one of their stories that was worse than what that man went through, that little boy went through. I knew Trump liked little boys, men, but I had no earthly idea. So let's listen before I start crying. And I don't want to do that.
I've witnessed many crises in my lifetime, but few have shaken me like the revelations that emerged in 2026 about President Donald Trump. To see a sitting president, someone sworn to uphold the Constitution, allegedly orchestrating a personal vendetta against the very people tasked with protecting our nation, it is both shocking and profoundly unsettling. I speak today not as a partisan observer, but as someone who has seen how the misuse of power corrodes trust, erodes institutions, and imperils the very foundation of democracy. The investigation led by Special Counsel Jack Smith revealed a disturbing pattern. Trump, confronted by federal inquiries and personal accountability, allegedly sought to target FBI agents involved in investigations against him. These were not idle threats or political rhetoric. These were actions aimed at undermining, intimidating, and retaliating against public servants performing their duties. The implications are far-reaching. When the head of the executive branch uses his office to settle personal scores, the very fabric of our governmental system trembles. I remember the first time I read Smith's report. The gravity of it was immediate. Trump's methods were not subtle.
The way we work and the way we do it is changing. At DoorDash for Business, we're here as an...
They involved attempts to discredit, harass, and apply pressure through channels that should have been sacredly impartial. It is one thing for a president to oppose policies or challenge laws he disagrees with. It is another entirely to weaponize the immense authority of the office against individuals simply because they are enforcing the law. The distinction is the difference between governance and personal revenge. For the American public, this is a moment that defies ordinary comprehension. Most citizens have never seen a president openly and allegedly actively undermine the agents of his own government. It recalls moments from history where unchecked power created chaos, though nothing in our modern era has mirrored this particular danger. That is why Jack Smith's investigation is so critical. It is not politically convenient, it is not partisan theater. It is the meticulous work of law enforcement professionals ensuring that even the most powerful person in the nation can be held to the same standards as any other citizen. One of the most troubling aspects of this revelation is the personal element. Trump's alleged vendetta was not just political, it was deeply personal. It was rooted in grudges, perceived slights, and the long-standing need to assert dominance over anyone who dared question him. To weaponize the presidency in such a way is to transform an office meant to serve the people into a tool of intimidation. The Constitution provides no guidance for handling this kind of moral and institutional failure. It assumes correctly that leaders will exercise restraint, judgment, and respect for the system. And yet, what we are seeing is a blatant disregard for that trust. In reading the details, I was struck by the courage of the FBI agents themselves. These are career professionals committed to enforcing the law even when it intersects with powerful figures.
So to hear that, that means that it is the old FBI agents, not the Cash Patels and stuff. Couldn't. So it's about undermining and the former Biden's administration, I'm assuming. Baby, listen. It is hard for me to shake that the Supreme Court judge was involved. He was there. Yeah. I remember last week or the week before about his wife being in contact and being a part of the insurrection. I even pulled an article up for us to listen to about her contacting the courts. So yeah, I've heard about some investigations with Clarence Thomas about something that had to do with the Bohemian Grove, which I know that's that secret society stuff. But what I was not expecting was for one of the survivors to name him. Now, he don't remember if he was abused. I'm going to use the word abused by him. But he knows that he was there. And then when I ran across this picture, you may not be able to see it, of Clarence Thomas. Yeah, you can best believe I'm going to go deep off into some investigation on him. But to see him with a kid disturbed my spirit. I ain't gonna even lie. I'm gonna try to get through this, y'all. I am going to try to get through this. I may need to move on forward and get on past this because it is very disturbing for me. It is very disturbing to me. To know that he was there. And if anything, witnessed what this young man went through and did nothing to stop it. Shout out to him. Shout out to him. for sticking it to Trump. Now, he got his ass beat, he said. He got his ass towed up for putting pain on Trump, from whom he said was the ringleader. I'm telling you, this is not the first time that I have heard that Trump was more evil. Even Epstein, I've been telling y'all that, said that Trump was worse than him. Self. He got his sickness, yeah. But Trump, he said it. He said it. I believe him now. I mean, I believed him before, but I absolutely believe it now. And to know that, look at that picture, Trump looking at Supreme Court judge like, yeah, okay, I got you one. Can I trust you? Can I trust you? Anyway, yeah, y'all, this is so, my delay has been because this is a hard pill to swallow. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Trump is the biggest criminal. Dirty Jersey, please let me make it. So in order to take down Trump, it's going to take down a lot of people. Thank you, Naturally New Orleans. It's going to take down a lot of people. Get y'all membership. Specs last night was like, Auntie Fee, the tea sippers need to hear this. It was heavy. It was heavy. It was heavy. Very disturbing. Very alarming. Very alarming. There were little girls, black and white, unalived in this saga. Beat. What's the Hunger Game? What's the name of that? One of those scavenger type shows where they hunt you down and it's just crazy, man. This is some of the craziest shit ever. And he needs to go. I am surprised that he is still alive. Another ICE possibly shot a female with a paintball barrel, causing her to go. But yeah, I saw that eye yesterday. The purge. Yeah. And I think somebody was trying to have a day of purge. Yeah. And then he kept calling it a farm. But anyway, let's move forward. Because it sounds like, listen, it's all full circle. Absolutely. Charlie, I don't know how much or what he uncovered. He probably uncovered some shit that was going on with his wife since I've been wondering about John Bonet. Yeah, her daddy seemed like he was up in there like that type stuff too. I don't know, but I'm sure if research is done, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm going to be honest. I wouldn't, because this young man's foster daddy was in with them. Hell, he was one of the pilots. This shit runs deep. Run the likes of, yeah, man. Auntie Fico too hard to bring it to y'all. I don't have time to be showing my face and all that, trying to be cute. I'm trying to get to the facts. You know, you understand? And this has been hurtful. And I don't care what color, what race, left, right. None of that matters. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. It's some evil people, man. And to know that their ultimate goal is to convert Christians into satanic devil worshipers. Yeah, let's go, y'all. I'm gonna back it up. Let's listen.
Against him. These were not idle threats or political led by Special Counsel Jack Smith revealed a disturbing pattern. Trump, confronted by federal inquiries and personal accountability,
Hi, Carolyn.
allegedly sought to target FBI agents involved in investigations against
I got
him.
my goals set. Help me reach my
idle
goals.
Threats or political rhetoric. These were actions aimed at undermining, intimidating, and retaliating against public servants performing their duties. The implications are far-reaching. When the head of the executive branch uses his office to settle personal scores, the very fabric of our governmental system trembles. I remember the first time I read Smith's report. The gravity of it was immediate. Trump's methods were not subtle. They involved attempts to discredit, harass, and apply pressure through channels that should have been sacredly impartial. It is one thing for a president to oppose policies or challenge laws he disagrees with. It is another entirely to weaponize the immense authority of the office against individuals simply because they are enforcing the law. The distinction is the difference between governance and personal revenge. For the American public, this is a moment that defies ordinary comprehension. Most citizens have never seen a president openly and allegedly actively undermine the agents of his own government. It recalls moments from history where unchecked power created chaos, though nothing in our modern era has mirrored this particular danger. That is why Jack Smith's investigation is so critical. It is not politically convenient. It is not partisan theater. It is the meticulous work of law enforcement professionals ensuring that even the most powerful person in the nation can be held to the same standards as any other citizen. One of the most troubling aspects of this revelation is the personal element. Trump's alleged vendetta was not just political, it was deeply personal. It was rooted in grudges, perceived slights, and the long-standing need to assert dominance over anyone who dared question him. To weaponize the presidency in such a way is to transform an office meant to serve the people into a tool of intimidation. The Constitution provides no guidance for handling this kind of moral and institutional failure. It assumes correctly that leaders will exercise restraint, judgment, and respect for the system. And yet, what we are seeing is a blatant disregard for that trust. In reading the details, I was struck by the courage
basically hunting
of the
down
FBI agents themselves. These are career professionals committed to enforcing the law even when it intersects with powerful figures. Their loyalty was not to a president, but to the nation, to the idea that justice is blind and impartial. That loyalty, ironically, made them targets of a man whose office should have demanded their protection, not their harassment. Watching their names appear in the investigation, seeing the lengths to which the president allegedly went to intimidate them, I felt a mixture of admiration for their integrity and sorrow for the corrosive effects of power misapplied.
Therapy has been such a massive part of my last 2 years, a massive part.
Y'all, please double tap the face of the screen. Get my likes up. Double tap if you're listening in on your phone. And if you're on your computer, please hit the three dots at the top right.
The reason that I'm able to be a
This moment in
Thank you, Satanya, I'm sorry. And thank you for, I saw somebody else, Naturally New Orleans, for the gems. I have 10 goals that I'm trying to get. $5. Please help me reach my goal. I would greatly appreciate it. But right now, I need for you to double tap the face of your phone. If you're listening in on your phone device, and if you're on an iPhone or your computer, it's saying that you need to hit the three dots at the top right corner to assist in getting the likes up. Yeah, come on, y'all. Let's go. Double tap, tap, tap. Let's go.
2026 is not just about Trump's behavior, it is about what it reveals regarding the erosion of norms that hold our democracy together. Power, when unchecked and wielded for personal purposes, destabilizes institutions. It corrodes the public's faith in law enforcement, undermines the principle that no one is above the law, and signals to future leaders that abuse can be normalized if left unchallenged. Jack Smith's investigation exposes that threat and demonstrates the vital importance of enforcing limits, even when it involves the individual who occupies the highest office in the land. As a former president, I understand the weight of the office. I know how easily public perception can be manipulated, how quickly power can feel limitless, and how tempting it can be to blur the line between personal interest and national responsibility. What makes the situation so
Thank you,
unprecedented and
Satoria,
so
for being the
dangerous
first
that the
one
boundary has
to
been crossed entirely?
gold.
Trump's
Help me get
alleged
my
crime
gold.
against FBI agents is not simply a political misstep. It is a profound breach of trust, an abuse of the presidency, and a direct challenge to the principles that sustain our democracy. In the coming months, the nation will see the full ramifications of this expose. How Congress responds, how the courts process the evidence, and how the public reacts will define whether the institutions designed to protect the country are strong enough to withstand the personal ambitions of a president who has placed himself above the system he swore to uphold. This is a reckoning not only for Donald Trump, but for the office he occupies and for all of us who depend on the rule of law to preserve liberty, fairness, and accountability. This is the reality we face in 2026. A president allegedly driven by revenge, a courageous investigation exposing it, and a nation forced to confront the fragility of the institutions that maintain our democracy. To understand the gravity of what Jack Smith's investigation uncovered, we must first understand the character of the man in the Oval Office. Donald Trump has long cultivated a persona built on dominance, intimidation, and a relentless desire to assert control over anyone who challenges him. In 2026, that persona has metastasized into a direct threat to federal law enforcement.
Excuse me. The real Alicia Barnes, I'm sorry. Can you put that on a super chat, or that question on a super chat or a super sticker? Help me reach my goal, and I'd be happy to explain to you what's going on. But can you put that on a super chat? Just copy and paste it, put it on a super chat, super sticker to help me reach the goal.
A president whose personal grudge office. Donald Trump has long cultivated a persona built on dominance, intimidation, and a relentless desire to assert control over anyone who challenges him. In 2026, that persona has metastasized into a direct threat to federal law enforcement, a president whose personal grudges now intersect with the machinery of the state. I have seen presidents take criticism personally.
The
Yeah,
Section
because
8
I've
waiting
I've
list
I've
is
talked
open,
about
but it won't stay open for long. You must.
what happened in the
who feel slighted by political adversaries or the press. That is human and to some degree inevitable. But Trump's approach is different. It is
last
systematic.
night in
It
the
is
members
vindictive.
only live.
It does not remain in the realm of words. It seeks action, influence, and if possible, retaliation. The allegations revealed by Jack Smith point to a leader who has weaponized the office of the presidency to intimidate those performing their constitutional duties. That is not temperament. That is a calculated personal vendetta. The implications of this behavior cannot be overstated. A president retaliating against the FBI is not merely punishing career law enforcement officers, he is striking at the heart of the principle that no individual is above the law. Every time a sitting president targets an agent investigating him personally, it sends a chilling message. Loyalty matters more than legality. Fear matters more than truth. It erodes morale inside agencies whose work must remain impartial and independent. It signals to everyone in public
Thank
service
you,
that
Naturally
standing by the law may
Norlands.
invite retaliation from the most powerful office in the land. Over the years, Trump has cultivated a circle of advisors and allies who reinforce this behavior. His decisions are filtered through people whose loyalty is measured by their willingness to act on his personal grievances. That network has allowed him to blur the line between national interest and private vendetta, transforming the executive branch into an instrument for settling scores. In doing so, he undermines the credibility of the very office he occupies. The presidency is designed to inspire confidence, not fear. It is intended to protect citizens and uphold the Constitution, not to avenge perceived slights. It is worth noting how extraordinary this is in the context of American history. Never before in the modern era has a sitting president allegedly sought to systematically intimidate federal investigators in response to personal legal exposure. Other leaders have faced criticism, opposition, or investigations. Other presidents have been accused of misconduct, but the alleged deliberate targeting of agents responsible for enforcing the law represents a new level of institutional assault. I think about the FBI agents themselves, their commitment, their courage, and their vulnerability. These are individuals who dedicate their lives to enforcing rules impartially, knowing that the stakes are high and the work is never easy. That such individuals might be subjected to threats or harassment orchestrated by the president is both shocking and unacceptable. It reflects a dangerous fusion of personal ego with state authority and undermines the trust
They had a
Americans place in
big
federal
old
institutions to
plan.
operate independently
Thank
of
you.
political interference.
What if you could clean your
You're
retainer at the
welcome.
touch of a button? No more brushing or tablets. Over 4 years ago, our team of engineers.
What is particularly troubling is how this behavior magnifies the fragility of democratic norms. It is one thing to manipulate policy or delay accountability. It is another to weaponize law enforcement itself. When a president allows personal grievances to dictate official action, the moral authority of the office erodes, public confidence declines, institutional integrity wavers, and the line between lawful governance and personal ambition becomes dangerously blurred. As a former president, I cannot overstate the importance of maintaining that line. The presidency carries enormous power precisely because the person occupying it is entrusted with responsibility, not revenge. To confuse personal vendettas with national interests is to transform an office meant to safeguard the country into a tool for self-preservation and retaliation. That is the essence of the danger we face in 2026. Donald Trump's alleged actions, as exposed by Jack Smith, are not mere political miscalculations. They represent a pattern of behavior rooted in ego and vindictiveness that threatens the core functions of government. The president is no longer simply a political figure.
He's
He
not a
is
president.
allegedly a direct threat to the institutions charged with upholding law, order, and justice in this country. And that reality forces every American to confront a fundamental question. When a leader confuses personal vengeance with public duty, how do we protect democracy itself?
Mm-hmm.
In 2026, the work of Special Counsel Jack Smith stands as one of the clearest demonstrations of the strength and necessity of impartial justice in our nation. His investigation into President Trump's alleged vendetta against FBI agents is not driven by politics, spectacle, or ideology. It is driven by evidence, procedure, and the unyielding principle that no one is above the law, not even a sitting president. What makes Smith's investigation remarkable is the meticulousness with which it has been conducted. Every allegation, every potential act of retaliation has been traced back to documents, communications, and witness testimony. Nothing is assumed, nothing is bypassed. The process is painstaking because the stakes could not be higher. The integrity of federal law enforcement, the credibility of the presidency,
There is
and the
no
trust of the
integrity.
American people all hang in the balance. Smith's team has traced a consistent pattern. Communications that might once have been dismissed as political posturing now take on a much darker hue when connected to efforts to intimidate or retaliate against agents. Meetings, memos, and directives have been examined to determine whether personal vendettas influence official actions. In each case, the investigation is aimed to separate conjecture from fact, rumor from verified evidence. That rigor is exactly what ensures that this is a legal inquiry, not a partisan attack. One of the critical aspects revealed by the investigation is the interplay between Trump's personal ego and the mechanisms of government. According to evidence gathered, the president allegedly instructed or encouraged subordinates to take steps that would compromise the professional independence of FBI agents investigating him or his associates. These actions were not abstract, they were direct, targeted, and intentional. And because of the independence of the special counsel's office, these actions are being documented and addressed with a level of impartiality that is vital to the functioning of our system. The investigation also underscores the courage of those willing to come forward. Witnesses who risk professional and personal consequences have provided critical testimony, giving insight into the inner workings of an administration that, according to the report, sometimes place personal grievance above law and order. Their willingness to speak is a reminder that the strength of democracy depends on individuals willing to uphold principles even when power itself seeks to intimidate them.
I don't know how they could expect for anybody to follow the law. I'm going to be honest. I don't think the word law or order should come out of Donald Trump's mouth, ever. Ever. Donald Trump, Clarence, I don't know how, Clarence Thomas, I don't know if a Supreme Court judge has ever been removed or brought up on charges. I don't think none of them, House, committee chairman, I don't care. All of them need to be brought up on charges. Because if, listen, there's a man, if he is giving up something that he was a part of, bravo to him. If he no longer wants to be a part of it, bravo to him. I applaud him for opening up his mouth and saying something instead of continuing to go along with these political devils that are victimizing kids. So, McCain, you may want to back out. You may want to moonwalk your ass back up out of here. This may not be the place for you. Respectfully. Let me make it easy for you. Let me go ahead and make it easy for you. Bye-bye. Y'all say bye to McCain. There was a McCain in her. There was. Yeah. Anybody who's going to stand up, I don't care if they was involved. Bravo. One thing is for sure, Clarence Thomas didn't put a stop to it. He ain't put a mouth to it. He ain't said nothing about what he saw. He ain't said nothing. And he's a Supreme Court judge. Yeah, but he was put in place to let certain things, well, hell, everything Trump did that they know is wrong, to expose it. He was who was in place to sabotage the truth, liberty, justice. Yeah, he was in place. He was the token in place to always let it slide. And say it again, he was the token in place to let it slide, to help create the monster that Trump is. The word have it, they friends. They good old friends. They damn near booty buddies. We know Trump will get down with it. they like I said, they damn near booty buddies. Yes, sir. He up in there. He's accepted. Yeah, he's one of the blacks that is accepted because he's going to work in their favor. They paid him millions to have blind eyes. Okay. Yeah, they booty buddies. They cool in the fan. Yeah.
Smith has been careful to maintain focus on facts rather than rhetoric. Each filing, each public
I don't know what
statement,
once
piece
upon a
of
time
evidence
is.
has been presented
So.
to ensure clarity and transparency. This is deliberate. When dealing with the office of the presidency, the law cannot be applied in haste or through sensationalism. It must proceed methodically, with accountability and respect for process. That is precisely what Smith has done, and it is why his investigation carries such weight. It is also worth noting the political and institutional bravery embedded in this work.
Get
In
the
an era
likes
where the
up.
presidency is often treated as untouchable, the investigation serves as a reminder that institutional integrity is not optional. Federal law enforcement, working alongside a special counsel, has demonstrated that adherence to principle can survive the enormous pressures of politics, wealth, and personal intimidation. That is a message both to the country and to the world. The United States retains mechanisms to confront the misuse of power, even at its highest levels. The investigation frames a broader lesson about the relationship between law and governance. It shows that the mechanisms of justice are resilient, capable of addressing threats not just to legal norms, but to the moral credibility of the presidency itself. The work of Jack Smith is not an attack on an individual or a party. It is an affirmation that rules, standards, and accountability matter, and that a system built on principle can endure even when confronted with extraordinary challenges. In 2026, Jack Smith's investigation does more than expose a president's alleged vendetta. It reassures Americans that institutions still function as they should, that evidence can triumph over intimidation, and that even the highest office in the land is subject to scrutiny. It is, in every sense, a reaffirmation of the principle that democracy survives through courage, procedure, and an unwavering commitment to truth. The revelations from Jack Smith's investigation do not exist in a vacuum. When a sitting president allegedly targets federal agents for personal revenge, the repercussions extend far, beyond the immediate actors. They reverberate across the government, into public trust, and even to the international stage. In 2026, we are witnessing the full scope of how one leader's personal vendetta can destabilize institutions designed to safeguard the nation. Domestically, the implications are profound. Federal law enforcement agencies operate on credibility, impartiality, and public confidence. When the chief executive of the United States allegedly undermines those agencies for personal reasons, morale is inevitably affected. Agents must question whether their work will be evaluated based on law or on the president's personal whims. That uncertainty is corrosive, not only for morale but for the integrity of the law itself. The FBI, tasked with investigating crimes without bias, must now navigate an environment where doing its duty could bring the wrath of the presidency down upon individual agents. Congress, too, is forced to confront unprecedented pressure. Lawmakers who may have previously tolerated or ignored signs of abuse now face undeniable evidence that the executive branch has allegedly used its power for personal vendettas. The normal pace of oversight, compromise, and negotiation has been disrupted by the urgency of these revelations. In 2026, Congress cannot act as a passive observer.
Hey, Janet.
It must respond, deliberating on impeachment, legislative checks, and reaffirmation of institutional authority. The gridlock or delay that has characterized political life in recent years is no longer defensible. The public dimension is equally significant. Americans have a right to expect that their government functions without fear, intimidation, or revenge at the highest level. When that expectation is shattered, trust in the presidency and in government more broadly declines. Citizens may question whether laws apply equally to everyone, whether career professionals can perform their duties without interference, and whether democracy itself is being eroded from the top down. Public confidence is not merely symbolic, it is essential for governance, compliance with the law, and social cohesion. The allegations revealed in 2026 risk shaking that foundation. Internationally, the consequences are no less stark. Allies and adversaries alike are watching. A president who appears willing to use the instruments of state to settle personal scores sends a troubling message about the reliability and stability of American leadership. Allies may hesitate in negotiations, questioning whether promises made today will be honored tomorrow. Adversaries may interpret internal turmoil as weakness, emboldening actions that challenge global security and democratic norms. The United States has long projected strength not only through military power, but through the integrity of its institutions. In 2026, that projection is under strain. Moreover, this situation reinforces a critical lesson for the global community. Democracy is maintained not by office holders, but by systems of accountability. When those systems function as intended, even extraordinary power is restrained. Jack Smith's investigation and the actions of impartial judges, law enforcement officials, and congressional oversight illustrate that principle. They demonstrate to the world that the United States, for all its turbulence, still possesses mechanisms to confront abuses of power. Finally, we must recognize the stakes beyond politics or legality. What Trump allegedly did against FBI agents is a signal to every government employee, every public servant, and every citizen that the reach
He
of
didn't
authority
want
can
he
be
didn't
used
want
if
the
unchecked.
FBI to
The
operate
national and international
effectively.
implications are intertwined. A domestic erosion of trust invites global skepticism, and global scrutiny, in turn, pressures domestic institutions to uphold their principles. In 2026, the message is clear. When the executive branch is misused for personal vendetta, the consequences extend far beyond the immediate victims. Democracy, public trust, and international credibility are all on the line. And in that light, the work of those holding the president accountable is not only a domestic imperative, it is a global one. As I reflect on these events in 2026, I am struck by the historical weight of this moment. Never before has a sitting president allegedly weaponized the office to intimidate federal law enforcement in such a direct and personal way. What Jack Smith's investigation has exposed is not simply misconducted, it is a fundamental breach of the moral and institutional boundaries that have long safeguarded our democracy. The presidency is more than power, it is trust. Every decision, every action carries consequences far beyond the immediate moment. When personal vendettas dictate presidential behavior, that trust is shattered. Public servants who act with integrity become targets. Institutions designed to protect the nation are imperiled. And the American people are left to wonder whether law applies equally to all or whether it bends to the will of a single individual. Yet even in this crisis, there is reason for cautious optimism. The exposure of these actions, the diligence of Jack Smith's investigation, and the willingness of judges, law enforcement, and Congress to uphold principle demonstrate the resilience of our system. Power may tempt abuse, but it cannot ultimately escape scrutiny. The mechanisms of accountability, though tested, remain intact. History will judge this period harshly, but it will also remember those who stood firm. The bravery of the FBI agents, the steadfast work of the special counsel, and the courage of lawmakers willing to confront wrongdoing
You know, I
are
wonder
reminders that
why did Trump even bring this back up, even mentioning Bill Clinton? Why did he even take that chance? Why did he even take that chance? Did he couldn't have thought that through. He couldn't have thought that Bill Clinton was just going to let him grape him, so to say, through the system. Or he thought that he had enough allies in the judicial system to sabotage it, to put it out on him instead of himself. So, like kind of like he did Epstein. So, yeah, so how he put it all on Epstein to get it off of him. So he was going to manipulate the people again. He was going to escape again by putting it on Clinton. Okay? Because I would have never brought it back up. I just would have let the people think that they got all the justice that they gonna get, as far as that goes. But I don't know if Diddy posed a threat, because we know Diddy know what was going on. Now, I don't know how much Diddy knows, but he damn sure knows something, because they've been together a long time. Me and Mrs. Combs. Yeah, Combs. We got a thing going on. Yeah, he had a thing with Diddy. Absolutely. As bonds. But something happened there in which Diddy was saying he was going too far. So Diddy knows something. And I don't know if he threatened him again to expose something or pardon me, because that pardon has come back up again. Because everybody involved, Ghislaine, Diddy, I don't know about Jay-Z now, that's already in trouble, is shitting bricks. And we know you can't shit bricks. We know why you had the runs. I promise, if it wasn't nothing that was kind of yay about what we watched last night, if there was nothing, because there was nothing to smile about or laugh about until we heard what happened with him and the victim, what he did to Trump, send his ass. He said they had to care flight Trump. They beat his ass though, but he said it was well worth it. It's a damn shame. Let's go.
institutions, not personalities, preserve democracy. As a former president, I can say this plainly. The American experiment depends on our ability to hold leaders accountable, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it challenges power itself. Donald Trump's alleged actions are a stark warning of what happens when ambition and ego override duty. But they also reaffirm a crucial truth: no office, no individual is above the law. In 2026, this moment is a reckoning, a test of courage, integrity, and principle. It is a
Yeah, I
reminder that
agree,
democracy is
Satoya.
sustained
I believe he got something for him too.
not by silence in the face of wrongdoing, but by the relentless pursuit of justice, the defense of institutions, and the moral clarity to recognize that power exists to serve the people, not to serve itself.
Senior life insurance
I
refers
agree.
to various.
I believe he got something up his sleeve for Trump as well. Let me move on over to Candace. Let's see what we missed last night. And then if time allows, we will try to catch up with something. But this was her last night. Y'all come on, let's switch gears. I need for y'all to double tap the face of your screen. Get the likes up, please. Get the likes up, please. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button for Auntie Faye. Hit the like button. Come on, I'll wait. Come on. Hit the like button. But the good old tea. The tea been hot. Shit. It's been burning my mind. I know what it's doing to yours. Come on, let's double tap. I think it's some more, Liberty University. They had a whole grand godparents house where they was, Lord, stealing babies and abuse. Heck, I even what is it? Evangelica. It went back to Oral Roberts. This was they saying there was a whole cult going on. Y'all ready?
You know what I was thinking? I think that
Is that how she started?
You know what I was thinking? I think that one of the more compelling questions that was raised with our Becoming Brigitte series was, is it possible for someone to be like,
Y'all, hey, help me reach my goal, please. 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. Who will be next to help me reach my goal? Hoo-hoo. 2 out of 10. Who will be number 3? Number 1, I think, was Satoya. Then naturally, New Orleans. Who is next? Ooh, Janet. Janet. She got me a super sticker. Thank you, Janet. Listen in on my way home. Okay, you listening in on your way home. Let's pump it up. Let's go, Candace.
yeah, no, really, all of my friends keep getting trouble for abusing kids, but I swear it's not me, just all my friends.
Oh, wow.
I find
Oh, let me start back up.
You know what I was thinking? I think that one of the more compelling questions that was raised with our Becoming Brigitte series was, is it possible for someone to be like, yeah, no, really, all of my friends keep getting trouble for abusing kids, but I swear it's not me, just all my friends. I find myself kind of arriving at this same question regarding Turning Point faith. I don't like Turning Point faith. I'm an enemy of Turning Point faith. There, I said it. I think it's pretty obvious. I don't like it at all.
It don't
These
make
pastors, their backgrounds, finding God, the grift of finding God I'm referring to, becoming very obvious. I'm asking the question, how many connections are too many connections when it comes to activity in the East on military bases? Also, you are going to believe me now because I'm going to show you this lawsuit that they're going through. It's making its way through the courts anyway. Just allegations, I suppose you could say. But it certainly puts another coin in the Candace was right jar. So let's jump right into it. Welcome back to Candace.
Let's go, Candace. There is definitely a pattern.
Okay,
It's most
today's show is
definitely
going to be
a
brought to you
pattern.
by Nimi Skincare. So thank you to them. It's refreshing to work with a brand that has not been confirmed it, that he gave this presentation. That's what's happening. And you know what actually is stuck in my mind? They have clean ingredients, simple routines, and products made in America. Made in America. So we're doing, it definitely seems like land grab everywhere. And it doesn't seem like it. That's what's happening. And you know what actually is stuck in my head? It kind of lives in the back of my head that we never really discussed more fully on this show. But when I spoke to the influencers at the retreat, and this is not suspicion, by the way, Bill Ackman confirmed it, that he gave this presentation to encourage younger generations not to own property. Like, I'm sorry, what? Yeah, you should just rent for the rest of your life. Just become rent slaves for the rest of your life. I feel like that so perfectly fits
Birds of a
into
feather.
this narrative, this global narrative that we have, where it seems like somebody hit a button and they are rushing and they just want to buy up land. And they're doing it through a lot of different venues, private equity, buying a bunch of land. Then you have these unnatural disasters and suddenly the land's super cheap. And of course, their preferred method of war. War everywhere all the time. So many people, oh my gosh, you won't believe what these radicals are doing. And of course, it just seems to be that whenever Bibi Netanyahu's around the corner, like, hey, I want that piece of land, suddenly our media starts telling us, hey, you wouldn't believe how free these people are trying to get in Iran. These people are really, woo, we need to free the Iranians. Oh, they've been living in oppression. Bibi is over here like, ooh, land. Oh, no, really? It's about spreading democracy. Code word, that's military code word for dropping bombs and stealing a bunch of stuff that isn't ours, a bunch of land that isn't ours. Anyways, war with Iran, it's now back on the table firmly. Why? Because, well, Israel wants it. And one of the more interesting things in the Charlie Kirk timeline,
Back that
you
thing
wouldn't
up.
believe how free these people are trying to get in Iran. These people are really, it seems to be that whenever Bibi Netanyahu's around the corner, like, hey, I want that piece of land, suddenly our media starts telling us, hey, you wouldn't believe how free these people are trying to get in Iran. These people are really, woo, we need to free the Iranians. Oh, they've been living in oppression. Bibi is over here like, ooh, land. Oh, no, really? It's about spreading democracy. Code word, that's military code word for dropping bombs and stealing a bunch of stuff that isn't ours, a bunch of land that isn't ours. Anyways, war with Iran, it's now back on the table firmly. Why? Because, well, Israel wants it. And one of the more interesting things in the Charlie Kirk timeline, our master timeline that we've created, is the month of June. Because we know that during the month of June, according to Tucker Carlson and other people who have come out and spoken about this, Charlie goes head-to-head with Bibi Netanyahu. And Charlie
Hi,
wins,
Harry.
by the way, in the moment. He lobbies in the month of June for President Trump not to get involved in Israel's war with Iran. He says just limit it to taking out their nuclear sites. Anything more than that, and you're going to lose the base. And yet everybody around Trump is completely infiltrated. They're a bunch of Zionists. They're lobbying on behalf of Israel. No, do more, get involved. Charlie wins. Charlie was adamant that war with Iran would not benefit the Trump campaign, and it would not benefit the American people. And we can hear him in his own words on this, because I find it compelling that they want us to honor Charlie by not asking questions, donating money, but not by actually carrying forth his actual ideas, things that came out of his mouth, the issues that he was concerned with in the months leading up to his life.
Oh,
So
they
let's
don't want
listen
that.
to Charlie Kirk regarding the neocons who could
They
buy.
wanted that to disappear. They want that to disappear. Yeah, now let's move on past that. Let's talk about something else. Oh, yeah, look at here. Oh, Ben Shapiro. Oh, did you hear what Candace said? Yeah, now move away from that. Shoe fly. Don't bother me. Y'all double tap the face of y'all screen. Get the likes up. I'm over an hour in. I should be over 100 likes or thumbs up. Double tap your phone if that's how you're listening in. The 275 people, if you have not already double tapped your phone, please do so now, or hit those 3 dots at the top right corner. Can I need get about 40 people to come on, quickly do that so we can move on and hear this tea, baby. Because I got more tea for you, but hey, you got to hit the like button to get the tea, or help me reach my goal. The choice is yours. There is the goal. I have super chat, super stickers. I have the gem box at the bottom. You know, right now you can double tap. I hit. Somebody took their light back. Oh, okay. Let me go get some water. Let me go. Ha! We gonna take lights back, boo boo. I need to go and make me something to eat. Or hit the 3 dots at the top right corner if you haven't already. That's why I took my time coming in, because y'all been acting funny with me. That's why the live last night was members only. Oh, breaking. Iran issues sickening assassination threat against Trump. Says this time it will not miss the target. New York Post. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't know if I can say this, but can I say please? Can I say please? I mean, you know, am I supposed to say that? Y'all, somebody took their light back on that one. Woo, it said next time. Next time. Fingers crossed, toes too. What do I need to do? Huh? Y'all double tap the face of your screen. Get the likes up. Yes, that just came over a couple of hours ago. I'm just not seeing it. They said they will not miss next time. Now, I don't think they did it. Please and thank you. She was just speaking about Iran, wasn't she? Perfect timing. Bull's eye. Wow. Let's go.
But not by actually carrying forth his actual ideas. Things that came together, a bunch of Zionists, they're lobbying on behalf of Israel. No, do more, get involved. Charlie wins. Charlie was adamant that war with Iran would not benefit the Trump campaign, and it would not benefit the American people. And we can hear him in his own words on this, because I find it compelling that they want us to honor Charlie by not asking questions, donating money, but not by actually carrying forth his actual ideas, things that came out of his mouth, the issues that he was concerned with in the months leading up to his life. So let's listen to Charlie Kirk regarding the neocons who could buy their way, apparently, onto the Turning Point USA stage, and their insistence that we need to go to war with Iran. Take a listen.
Let's do some updates about Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham, and this is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham.
Take a listen.
Oh, Liz.
Let's do some updates about Israel and Iran and potentially the United States. On one side is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types,
okay.
where
Thank
they
you.
are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham, This is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at the
Oh, wow. This came out of Charlie Kirk's mouth. We hearing it for ourselves. This is how he felt, what he thought. Now, I remember telling y'all that he went into the office to express to Donald Trump how he felt, and he said, do not assist Israel in this against Iran. They said Trump hollered, get out, you don't know what you're talking about, get out. Then he got a call from Bibi Netanyahu saying, come on, let me fund you, I'll make da-da-da-da. He turned it down. He said, well, come see me, come see me. And he turned it down. And he was no longer with us shortly after that.
analysis is not helpful. This kind of is the Lindsey Graham, John Bolton types, where they are actively calling for regime change. Here is Lindsey Graham, and this is just lunacy. This kind of analysis is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned of argument? It has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East?
Oh, yeah. I think Lindsey Graham's name came up last night, too. I just don't remember. But I think Lindsey Graham's name, yeah, he's one of them, too. But he looks like it. Yeah, he looked like it.
What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, analysis, is not helpful. This kind of approach, this kind of argument, it has nothing to do with nuclear weapons at this point. This is now that we want to go all in and take out the regime. It's time for us to close the chapter on the Iranian Ayatollah and his henchmen and start a new chapter in the Middle East. And that sounds good, doesn't it? But what have we learned when it comes to wars, and especially wars in the Middle East? What you draw up on a whiteboard rarely happens. What you think theoretically is going to occur, there might be unintended and unforeseen consequences, especially when you're talking about a country 2.5 times the size of Texas. It has 90 million people and was an ancient and great power with well over a dozen ethnic groups. You have underground Christians. You don't really have many Jews left in Persia. But also you have secular younger Persians. Who's going to run the country exactly, Lindsey Graham? This sounds like Hillary Rodham Clinton in Libya.
Well, I would push back, Charlie, only to say that it's very much the intended result. I find it so funny when people make the argument, well, you wouldn't want to live in this country in the Middle East. You wouldn't want to live in Iraq. Obviously, the West is the best. Yeah, do you want to know why I wouldn't want to live there? Or I want to live in Libya? Or I want to live in Iraq? Because we bombed them. And we didn't stop bombing them. We bombed them pretty much into the actual dark ages. That's the goal of these things, is to make it so these people can't live ahead and live in poverty. So yeah, no, you're right. I wouldn't want to live there because neocons insist on bombing and taking these countries' resources and controlling them therein with really kind of gangs. That's kind of the methodology. Gangs will then run the streets and we will supply the weapons anyways. Tucker Carlson similarly echoed this at the time. Lindsey Graham was just doing what Lindsey Graham does. I think personally, he's got the largest blackmail file. Whatever Israel has on him, it is terrifying. Okay, it is terrifying. We know what Lindsey Graham probably gets up to. We've had some male hookers come out come out and make some allegations, but they were running a pretty sophisticated blackmail ring in D.C., and Lindsey Graham just comes out and immediately is like, whatever Israel wants all the time, bomb them now, 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 now.
Oh,
And Tucker
wow.
Carlson, I think, put it quite succinctly when he said this about Lindsey Graham. Take a listen.
What you don't want are flighty, emotionally incontinent, silly people on the payroll of foreign nations making decisions in an empire, because that's how you get in trouble. People like, just throwing this out there, say Lindsey Graham. Here he is in the aftermath of Venezuela.
To the people of Iran, we stand with you tonight. We stand for you taking back your country from the Ayatollah, religious Nazi, who kills you and terrorizes the world. We pray for you. We support you. Donald J. Trump is not Barack Obama. He has your back. And to the Ayatollahs, you need to understand,
He's gonna cry.
if you keep killing your people who are demanding a better life, Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
Every time you see that guy on TV, it really just reminds you of like getting pulled over for DUI with your drunk girlfriend in the passenger seat screaming at the cop, "You can't do this! Take your hands off him! He's gonna beat you up!" Lindsey Graham really is the drunk girlfriend, picking fights he'll never have to participate in. We're gonna kill you! Settle down, son.
I don't feel like cooking today, so I'm trying 2 meals from Cook Unity to see if they're actually worth the hype. And first up, we're starting with this mission-style chicken burrito with 42 grams of protein. Made by Chef 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝 𝐍𝐸, microwave and top with the salsa.
Well, that looks insane. Oh, what? This is restaurant quality, and that salsa verde is fire.
We're also going to try this breakfast bacon, egg, and cheese quesadilla with 57 grams of protein. I reheated this one in the oven until it was crispy and gooey, then topped it off with that.
Something big is coming. Oh, yeah, I believe that. Oh boy just said something about the day before or something. But y'all double tap the face of the screen on your phone.
He is so correct with that analogy. That is exactly who he is. But I think he's got all the time, bomb him now, 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 now. And Tucker Carlson, I think, put it quite succinctly when he said this about Lindsey Graham. Take a listen.
What you don't want are flighty, emotionally incontinent, silly people on the payroll of foreign nations making decisions in an empire, because that's how you get in trouble. People like, just throwing this out there, say Lindsey Graham. Here he is in the aftermath of Venezuela.
To the people of Iran, we stand with you tonight. We stand for you taking back your country from the Ayatollah, religious Nazi, who kills you and terrorizes the world. We pray for you. We support you. Donald J. Trump is not Barack Obama. He has your back. And to the Ayatollahs, you need to understand,
He's gonna cry.
if you keep killing your people who are demanding a better life, Donald J. Trump is going to kill you.
Every time you see that guy on TV, it really just reminds you of like getting pulled over for DUI with your drunk girlfriend in the passenger seat screaming at the cop, "You can't do this! Take your hands off him! He's gonna beat you up!" Lindsey Graham really is the drunk girlfriend, picking fights he'll never have to participate in. We're gonna kill you! Settle down, son.
He is so correct with that analogy. That is exactly who he is. But I think he's got tears in his eyes. I think they called him and they're like, we were going to release the file right now and everyone's going to see what you did. And he's like, that's Lindsey Graham. Anyways, back to Charlie. I want to now show you this in our master timeline. Charlie going head to head with Bibi Netanyahu because June is when things start to look funny. Okay? Not a great thing.
Friend in the passenger seat screaming at the cop, "You can't do this! Take your hands off him! He's gonna beat you up!" Lindsey Graham really is the drunk girlfriend,
Big dang.
picking fights he'll never have to participate in.
Yeah, I just saw
We're
something.
gonna kill you! Settle down, son.
Son.
He is so correct with that analogy. That is exactly who he is. But I think he's got tears in his eyes. I think they called him and they're like, we were going to release the file right now and everyone's going to see what you did. And he's like, that's Lindsey Graham. Anyways, back to Charlie. I want to now show you this in our master timeline. Charlie going head to head with Bibi Netanyahu because June is when things start to look funny. Okay? Not a great thing in your life to win against the murderous Israeli regime, okay? Not so concerned about Iran, very concerned about the murderous Israeli regime, okay? And we're going to look at that timeline between just the dates of May 13th through to June 24th. Now, I know you don't even know this plane, this purple plane, light purple plane, 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝. This is when we get to the Egyptian planes here, but I'm building this all up for you with the priests and the pastors and Liberty University. There's a reason that we're waiting on that. But 𝐓𝐫𝐞 is a plane. First, our anchor plane comes in. The anchor plane comes in May 23rd, lands into Provo. And I think in terms of the patterns that I'm seeing with the Egyptian planes, it gets there before their A-lister arrives. You know, like they get there, maybe scope the place first because somebody big's on board. May 27th is when that follow-up plane comes in. That's always going to be a quick trip. And if you actually looked this up on Flight Radar, you would not see this trip. It's going to look to you like this tail number, 𝐓𝐫𝐞, is just flying around in circles in Cairo. I have been able to confirm that they are able to trick their transponders and they can leave the nation. So it is a fact. You're not going to be able to see this on Flight Radar. You're just going to see a lot of activity looking like it's just going around.
Wow.
But this tail number, 𝐓𝐫𝐞, is going to fly into Provo, and this Walid Mahmoud is going to be aboard. That's an important name because that's going to be the same Walid Mahmoud that's going to be on our yellow plane on the day of Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there's no transponding. Anyways, then we have it departs on June 2nd. Back, it leaves Provo, heading back to Cairo. And once again, it does not transpond during that flight. But I have confirmed that those planes were in fact in Provo. Immediately following this trip, Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences, okay? Now, maybe actually, since it wasn't transponding, who knows, maybe it went to D.C. A plane could have actually gone to D.C., I don't know. I shouldn't even say it went back to Cairo. But on June 13th, Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences. Every time I start building these planes, something's going on in Israel, and these planes get going. And I've learned Provo basically has a city underground. Pretty safe place, I would say. I would speculate that if you needed to get a very important person out of the area, out of Israel during wartime, Provo would be a great place for this person to go. And there were some strange cancellations, but again, I'm going to save that. Government cancellations in Provo at that time, but I'm going to save that again for when we go through the Egyptian planes. Point being is that Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences, and we know that then between June 14th and June 21st, leading up to our Operation Midnight Hammer, which is when we send out the planes to bomb Fort Dow, Charlie's lobbying and saying no more involvement, no more involvement. Wartime, Provo would be a great place for this person to go, and there were some strange cancellations, but again, I'm going to save that. It's a city underground. Pretty safe place, I would say. I would speculate that if you need to get a very important person out of the area, out of Israel during wartime, Provo would be a great place for this person to go, and there were some strange cancellations, but again, I'm going to save that. Government cancellations in Provo at that time, but I'm going to save that again for when we go through the Egyptian planes. Point being is that Iran and Israel's 12-day war commences, and we know that then between June 14th and June 21st, leading up to our Operation Midnight Hammer, which is when we send out the planes to bomb Fort Dow, Charlie's lobbying and saying no more involvement, no more involvement, okay? Another interesting thing, which I didn't introduce as I've been building out this timeline in the background, is that on June 19th, Erica purges her Instagram. Okay, she deletes 126 Instagram posts.
About to take a shower.
By no means a little. That is according to Social Blade, and we have that somewhere so you can see that. So I don't know, maybe Charlie's saying, "I feel threatened. I don't want people knowing where we're going." Who knows? That's a noticeable purge of content that takes place in the same time frame. I just wanted to explain that to you, because it's on the master timeline in the background, is that on June 19th, Erica purges her Instagram, okay? She deletes 126 Instagram posts. By no means a little. That is according to Social Blade.
Thank you,
and
Queen.
We have that somewhere so you can see that. So I don't know, maybe Charlie's saying, "I feel threatened. I don't want people knowing where we're going." Who knows? That's a noticeable purge of content that takes place in the same time frame. I just wanted to explain that to you because it's on the master timeline. And then, like I said, what happens is, bam, we decide to bomb Fort Dow, a limited military exercise, and everyone says, war with Iran is over. The Panikins were wrong. And we were no, we weren't wrong. We weren't wrong. What BB wants, BB gets. So this just means we're hitting pause. And now we're here. Okay? Now we are actually here, and they are demanding that we get more involved. And now they're doing their preferred, just in time, a color revolution. They're taking to the streets, demanding freedom. Really, CIA, Mossad, if you haven't done this literally in every country, like if you could just do a new strategy, I might actually believe that. But I don't even believe that like 2% that that's what's happening in that country. It's just, color revolution. Pretend it was organic, and we're here to rescue them. Anyways, it's interesting. All of this is interesting because we don't see those principles of no involvement, staying away from neocons. We don't hear that now being reflected at Turning Point USA. Like, we're trying to figure out, in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, which was obviously a good thing for Bibi Netanyahu, his war ambitions in Iran, what exactly has this organization become? Well, here's one thing that I can tell you, and you probably will believe this, but yesterday, obviously, I speculated, because I am enemies with their faith division, that it was, in fact, created in the image of the Moonies cult, a Korean cult. And after I questioned their expansion into estate planning as it pertains to the elderly, I was going, kind of weird. They used to just want a donation. Now they kind of want you in the image of the Moonies cult, a Korean cult. And after I questioned their expansion into estate planning as it pertains to the elderly, a little girl? I was going, after I questioned their expansion into estate planning as it pertains to the elderly, I was going, kind of weird. They used to just want a donation. Now they kind of want you to put them in your wills. Someone brought it to my attention that there actually was a lawsuit filed at the end of 2024 against Turning Point USA and YAF with exactly the inclinations that I had underscored. Okay, remember? I told you the assassination of Abe Shinzo, the former prime minister of Japan, with exactly the inclinations that I had underscored. Okay, remember? I told you the assassination of Abe Shinzo, the former prime minister of Japan, he was a longtime prime minister. He gets assassinated because the person was destitute, broke, and said, Abe, you are to blame for this. Your entire cabinet is filled with this. You've been pushing this, and my brother committed suicide. I almost committed suicide. We don't even have enough money to eat because my mother gave all of her money to this church.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, remember? I told you the assassination of Abe with exactly the inclinations that I had underscored. Okay, remember? I told you the assassination of Abe Shinzo, the former prime minister of Japan, he was a longtime prime minister. He gets assassinated because the person was destitute, broke, and said, Abe, you are to blame for this. Your entire cabinet is filled with this. You've been pushing this, and my brother committed suicide. I almost committed suicide. We don't even have enough money to eat because my mother gave all of her money to this church. Beautification Church. Well, guess what? This is real life. In December of 2024, a court petition was filed challenging the last will and testament and trust of a man named Alton C. Jennings. Okay, Alton died at.
She's saying, get the likes up. Get the likes up. Hit the 3 dots on the face of your device. Or double tap the face of your phone if you have not already. That was 1. Hit the 3 dots at the far right top. Oh, that's why I didn't like that. Come on, you can do it. Come on, you can do it. I need 5 more. Come on. I shouldn't have to pause the tea. That was probably the best thing about not having to say hit the likes, because everybody that was in there already had a membership. But y'all missed out on some good tea that Spec really wanted y'all to have. I ain't gonna lie. He really wanted y'all to have it.
At 95 years old.
Oh, somebody took their like back. I can never understand how people can give the church all their money to the point where they can't feed themselves. Shaking my dang head. Yeah, somebody took their light back. That's why I paused. Queen, I sure like seeing that star by your name. Did you go back and watch the live from last night? That was members only? You may, if not, you really want to go and get caught up on a survivor, a male survivor. I watched it. Okay. Okay, so whoever took their like back, I need about 4 more people to hit the like button, the 3 dots on the top right. So that's not gonna work. And I'm up here spending my money to get cords and stuff to stay in business so that y'all won't.
For the lawsuit, these are still just allegations. For the lawsuit, Alton to blame for this. Your entire cabinet is filled with this. You've been pushing this, and my brother committed suicide. I almost committed suicide. We don't even have enough money to eat because my...
Y'all said they playing, you know, somebody keeps on taking the likes back as if I'm not going to stop, like I'm not watching it. You only have to double tap 1 time. If you double tap again, it takes it back. So I need for y'all, it's 267 people in here. You can not like on multiple devices. Oh, okay. On the same IP address. YouTube has changed. It will take away the like. Okay. Don't be childish. Like it. Okay.
The assassination of Abe Shinzo.
Thanks for that
former
information.
Prime Minister of Japan, longtime Prime Minister, he gets assassinated because the person was destitute, broke, and said, Abe, you are to blame for this. Your entire cabinet is filled with this. You've been pushing this, and my brother committed suicide. I almost committed suicide. We don't even have enough money to eat because my mother gave all of her money to this church, the Unification Church. Well, guess what? This is real life. In December of 2024, a court petition was filed challenging the last will and testament and trust of a man named Alton C. Jennings, okay? Alton died at 95 years old. He had a very long life. Per the lawsuit, these are still just allegations. Per the lawsuit, Alton began showing signs of cognitive decline in 2020. And at that time, a year later, rather, in 2021, he hired a caretaker. That caretaker's name is Mitch Manley Sr. Okay, so you're thinking, Grandpa now has a caretaker. We're good. I should tell you this lawsuit was filed by his grandson. In this lawsuit, the grandson alleges that thereafter, Mitch Manley Sr. isolated his declining grandfather from his friends, from his family, and he seized control of his finances. Now, I should now tell you that Mitch Manley's son, so Mitch Manley's the caretaker, his son is Mitch Manley Jr., who was working for Turning Point USA at this time. He's actually working on Charlie Kirk's show. So his dad's taking care of this old man who's in cognitive decline, and here we go. The son is working for Turning Point USA, and would you believe it, lo and behold, when the elderly man died less than 3 years later, at the age of 95,
she's giving reality check, says the tea piping hot, her intuition's fire, they cannot.
family discovered that he had changed his will. He changed his will in November of 2023. So for clarity, just 4 months before this man died at the age of 95, he moved to change his will. You'll never guess who he decided to leave his estate to. The estate, which was valued at $25 million. He left it, split it, amongst Turning Point Action, headed up by none other than Tyler Boyer.
Oh, wow.
Ta-da! And yeah. What can I say, you guys? Granddad was a patriot in and yeah. What can I say, you guys? Granddad was a patriot in his senile state. He's like, you know what? I know that I had my grandson and my family, but I just decided that at the ripe age of 93, actually, I would like to give to causes in Arizona. And so, bye-bye, grandson. How does that make you guys feel? I don't know. I am just amazed. I'm actually, oh, man, the Moonies cult just opened everything. Everything is just locking into place suddenly. And look, I want to be clear, just so I sound like a cultist. I'm sure this was all done for God. Really, who could possibly think otherwise? If you have any questions about that story or you want more details,
take that over God.
I want you to know that you are trying to destroy Charlie's legacy. Everybody grieves. I'm sure this was all done for God.
Oh, wow.
Really, who could possibly think otherwise? If you have any questions about that story or you want more details, I want you to know that you are trying to destroy Charlie's legacy. Everybody grieves differently, okay? And yeah, some people have wills and estates changed for 93-year-old men, and the money is awarded to themselves. It's the best way to grieve. Now, why is this all just feeling so the opposite of godly, almost satanic? Yeah, welcome to politics. And speaking of satanic, and I mean literally satanic, many of you were emailing us regarding a certain board member at Turning Point USA.
Oh,
right?
Lord.
We kept discussing this element of militant faith. Oh, these pastors happen to be in the military. Oh, it's kind of weird. Background in high-ranking military members. People using Christianity for ultimately what looks like militant aims. Global governance. For whatever reason, when we explore that topic, we also find this recurring theme of sex abuse. It's almost as if all of these satanic things are coming in the name of the Lord. Well, enter this TPUSA board member named Paul Vallely. Paul E. Vallely. I want you to look at this guy. And he is exactly the kind of board member that I would expect to be involved with Turning Point Faith. By way of background, Paul E. Vallely was a military commander. He was the military commander for none other than the 7th Psychological Operations Group. That's already compelling for me, right? The 7th Psychological Operations Group. There were 6 before it. And what number are we at now? Okay, can we just take a second to appreciate that our military is literally running mind wars? Mind wars. And that's what he did. Our military is engaged in them. That's why I keep telling you, when you're on the internet and you're just being yelled at and they're just trying to break down your brain. That's what he did. Our military is engaged in them. That's why I keep telling you,
manipulation.
when you're on the internet, we just take a second to appreciate that our military is literally running mind wars. Mind wars. And that's what he did. Our military is engaged in them. That's why I keep telling you, when you're on the internet and you're just being yelled at and they're just trying to break down your brain. They figured that if a bunch of people say something, you'll just follow the lead. That's what these bot farms are all about. I actually kind of subscribe to the dead internet theory, especially when I'm on X. I'm like, this is obviously run by the military. I've never seen the bots say we shouldn't go to war ever. And yet when I speak to people, nobody wants to go to war. So there you go. Anyways, back to Paul Vallely. Vallely did 2 combat tours in Vietnam. He was in Japan, Korea, Iraq, Israel, you name it, all over the place throughout Europe. And while he was serving, he collaborated with a major that was working under him. Okay. This major became his official research and analysis team leader, and his name was Major Michael. Look at those eyebrows, unbelievable.
Oh,
Michael
yeah, I saw him.
They hit it off so well.
But
Paul
the
and
thing
Michael.
about him
So well.
is he is a devout, and he's not a devil worshiper. He knows it. And he said the military, hell, they know it. Yeah, I saw him the other day. Yeah, sometimes he wears some type of real black wig thing. And we don't think that this is odd, military. So is the military just demonic? I mean, has it always been like this? Y'all, please get the likes up. This is getting spooky, ooky, wooky. Wow. Yeah.
Was Major Michael, look at those eyebrows, unbelievable, Michael Aquino. They hit it off so well, Paul and Michael, so well that in 1980, the two of them decided to co-author a book correctly termed, aptly entitled, Mind War. Now, who is Michael Aquino? Because this is where it gets interesting. Aside from being an intelligence officer and an expert of psychological warfare, just like Valerie, doing this on behalf of our military, he's also an open Satanist.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm starting to think that being an avowed Satanist might be the very reason that he was welcomed into the ranks of our military. And I'm going to tell you his background story. That whole garb that he's wearing, by the way, this is Aleister Crowley. For those of you in the book club, those of you reading, we've been reading Chaos. This is what established Hollywood. You are not imagining it. This is what these people believe in. And in 1969, lo and behold, speaking of the book Chaos, when the military was just spiking the ball, psychological operations, moon landing, whenever you're ready, the Manson murders, whenever you're ready, all military. Anyways, in 1969, this guy Aquino joined the Church of Satan. And in 1969, he then rose through the ranks of that church as the Magister Caverns of a fourth degree within the church hierarchy. He became the editor of the publication The Cloven Hoof, and he sat on the governing council of the Nine. In 1975, he left to form his own satanic church because just like other churches break apart, there was a schism. There was a schism. And the schism was because they couldn't establish the doctrine, because the Satanists were saying, like, Satan is an idea. And he was like, no, Satan is literal. And so they had the great satanic schism, you could say. He accuses Anton LaVey, who's the founder of the Church of Satan, of heresy for claiming that Satan was merely a metaphor and not an actual being. So I'm going to now let Michael Aquino, schism, you could say. He accuses Anton LaVey, who's the founder of the Church of Satan, of heresy for claiming that Satan was merely a metaphor and not an actual being.
This is why I say you should not play with the devil. You just shouldn't play with the devil. You never know how far he'll take you. He'll pull you in. And then next thing you know, you be making deals with the devil that you can't renege on. Yeah. And why is that a cross? Get that up out of there. I mean, I'm sure that's lighting, but I don't like that. Oh, no. Let me hide that. Yeah, never play with the devil. You better off playing with yourself. Outside, or you ain't got no friends. That's cool. Hey, Lisa, don't play with the devil. The devil is not your friend. This is why I also tell people, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in none of that type of stuff. I don't believe in heaven or hell. Oh, you better. Because the devil absolutely believes in heaven, knows about heaven, and knows about hell. I mean, what? Yeah, and you better leave this earth with the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit than not. You better accept the Lord as your personal Savior. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? Yeah, don't play yourself.
So I'm going to now let Michael Aquino, who's head of PSYOPs, along with Pyle Vallely, who's a board member, tell you what the goals were when he established the Temple of.
And it blows my mind that this young lady was a part of the Zionist stuff. I mean, thank God she got out. Thank God the light shined upon her. But just to think that she and Charlie, and Lord in heaven knows who else. I mean, I pray to God that they never partook of some of the stuff that we are learning. I'm sure, I mean, I can't be sure, but hopefully they didn't. But I'm going to tell you, it blows my mind to have that much sense and fall victim. It's mind-blowing. Charlie, too?
Sets. Take a listen.
I'm sorry, what am I doing?
I just want to start out, I think, by clarifying and understanding the nature of what it is to be a Setian. Obviously, slightly different from a Satanist, but obviously you did spend some time with the Church of Satan under LaVey initially. And just to understand what is the mindset, what is the philosophy of a Setian, what is that worldview like?
The Temple of Set was originally thought to take the context of what our original satanic experience had been out of the Judeo-Christian mythology system. And harking back to the original Church of Satan days, take the context.
No, I can't believe this. Just
to understand what is the mindset, what is the philosophy of a Setian, what is that worldview like?
The Temple of Set was originally thought to take the context of what our original satanic experience had been out of
what in the entire
Christian mythology
hell is this?
And harking back to the original Church of Satan days, we were looking really to find the nature of what is generally.
So he's a true devil worshiper.
Set was originally
Hold on, I'm trying to get the light
thought
right.
to take the context of what our original satanic experience had been out of the Judeo-Christian mythology system. And harking back to the original Church of Satan days, we were looking really to find the nature of what is generally called the human soul. In other words, what it is within us that animates us, that gives us freedom of decision, of conceptualization, the intellectual life force. The Church of Satan, of course, had been out of the Judeo-Christian mythology system. And harking back to the original Church of Satan days, we were looking really to find the nature of what is generally called the human soul. In other words, what it is within us that animates us, that gives us freedom of decision, of conceptualization, the intellectual life force.
The freedom of decision.
The Church of Satan, of course, had a certain social criticism.
Okay, so that freedom of decision that you have, what do they say all the time? God gives you choices. And you know, I don't play with it, but I challenge that because, and it's interesting that he's saying that because we are led to believe that we have a choice. And I made reference not too long ago about the choice that we have in this thing as far as our Christianity and accepting of Christ that's our choice, is to accept him as our Savior. We have to. That's something that you have to choose. You have to choose good versus evil, right? And so outside of that, what choice do we have? Free will. Who told you have free will? That's what he says. You have free will to accept Christ or the eyebrow man. But other than that aspect, did you have a choice of sin? Or was a sin seed in you before you was even before your mama and daddy ever came together in perfect harmony? The sin seed was already there. So when you came out, did you have a choice to be a sinner? If we're going to be realistic, babies come out the mother's womb a sinner. Did the baby have a choice? How is a kid a sinner before they sin? You don't have a choice. The choice left at the skin of the forbidden. Stop. Don't make me laugh. We carry both in us, good and evil. One would activate. But as far as that free will, because I think, now that I'm learning how far back this goes, and the manipulation and the whitewashing, the changing of the Bible, the new and improved, the easy reading, the Schofield, the manipulation of God's word. Eyebrow man. Amen. Them eyebrows. Wait a minute. I have to put my eyebrow. So I need to choose to go to heaven. I have my eyebrows with the eyebrow man. I mean, am I gonna have to? Oh, wait a minute. That's a weapon. So them eyebrows are points. So them eyebrows are horns. They're symbolic of the horns because his hair wouldn't stand up. Oh, it's symbolism. Those are the horns of the devil. No, Lisa, kings are not. No one is sin. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Everybody is born into sin. Everybody is born into sin. Because of Adam and Eve. Everybody is born into sin. We're born into sin, and the only way to be sinless is if you choose good over evil. When you choose to accept Christ as your personal savior, your acceptance is what purifies you, justifies you. That's why it says no man stir up righteousness within him own self. There is no righteousness in us because we were born into sin. And I remember that vividly because I just, I couldn't process at one point in my spiritual walk, understanding the day of at rapture or at judgment. It was rapture. During the rapture. What about the babies? My question was, what about the babies? Hold on. She said the U.S. makes an initial $50 million Venezuela oil deal headed to Qatar. Well, I wouldn't be surprised. And if they don't get his ass up out of there, I mean, so what is he gonna do? He gonna let Qatar, whoever he makes this deal with, he is going to let them bomb them, take over their land. I mean, we can already see this coming, and he's going to pull the military to enforce it. Okay, y'all, I have 3 minutes left on my goals. Can somebody, and it's what? Only 2 people help me with my goal. Who will be able to assist me, try to help me reach my goal within these last 3 minutes? Trump is the beast. Oh yeah, he is the beast. But I don't want us to confuse that about kids being sinless. That is not true. They are, and because I question about the being left behind. Why would babies be left behind when we was doing the series of Left Behind? And I couldn't process that. Why would kids be left behind? And they are babies. You cannot be sinless in this world. Absolutely not. Lynn Wayne Hang, absolutely. So I want us to, not grab a hold to those different little lies that they have put out. That's not true. If the parents are left behind, the babies are left behind too. The babies are not going to go up during the rapture if their parents are non-believers. Some of these people walking around saying, I don't believe in all that type of stuff. If you don't want to think about, thank you, Queen. Thank you. I got 1 minute and 49 seconds left. Who will help me reach my goal? Who will help me reach my goal? Who will help me reach my goal? So we need to think about that when we walking around trying to act like I don't believe in all that God stuff. I don't believe in that. You better think about your kids. Do you want them to burn in hell because you want to continue to play with the devil? And have to make your eyebrows into horns? Let's go, y'all. Help me reach my goal this last minute. Let's get this tea. Let's go.
We were looking really to find the nature of what is generally called the human soul. In other words, what it is within us that animates us, that gives us freedom of decision, of conceptualization, the intellectual life force. The Church of Satan, of course, had a certain social criticism aspect to it, and it also like to hold Judeo-Christianity's feet to the fire. After 10 years, that both of those became sort of played out. And we were looking, as Obi-Wan Kenobi suggested to Luke Skywalker in the first Star Wars movie, to take a first step into a larger...
So, okay, Lady Love, a priest, okay, so your son passed before. So you're saying, and I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss, Lady Love. So your baby died in your womb. Is that what you're saying? Or your baby came out stillborn? I'm assuming that's what you are implying, and then that the priest told you that you didn't need a prayer because your baby never had breathed life. But if your child, if your child would have was able to come out alive and breathe, then there were at 36 weeks. Okay, I get it. Okay, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry for your loss. But thank you for that. I just hadn't heard it put out that way. But I get that. But the moment there is breath, this is all of this. You are here for not our purpose. That's why I don't get non-believers. We're not here for our purpose. We didn't ask to be here. We didn't have a choice to be here. So we are here for God's purpose. He died for our sins so that we who believe would have eternal life. Christ didn't have to come to die. He did not have to come to die. He could have chilled and said, oh, well, cuz every man for himself. Oh, they ain't gonna make it. Oh, they ain't gonna make it. I mean, that could have been the sentiment. This is why I knew something was wrong with Charlie Kirk, because you could not be a devout Christian and believe in him so adamantly and say that you don't believe in empathy. Empathy is why he came and died. To put himself in our place. He didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that. He died for the remission of sin. So how can you not have empathy? That was the biggest problem that I had with Charlie, that let me know that something evil was going on. And if I had ever seen a wolf in sheep clothing, and I've seen some, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie but on a level where y'all acting like he God. I mean, wait a minute now. Who is it? Wait, what? What we doing? Was him saying that, I have a personal relationship with God and I don't have no empathy. I don't care nothing about no immigrants, get them out, welfare, just what? What Bible are you reading? God said take care of the foreigners. Foreigners are immigrants, right? Babies, kids, and y'all think that that's okay? You don't have no empathy? Oh, that's the devil. That's the devil. Is that what we pushing? Oh Lord, let me sit up. What the now? Who is this Charlie Kirk guy? Thank God he got it at the end. I don't care when you get it. I'm gonna say that again. I don't care when you get it, as long as you get it. And yes, you can get it at the very end. Somebody gonna say, oh, Auntie Fee, now you going too far. You going too far. You going too far. You gotta change. You gotta walk. You gotta walk accordingly. No, God said he came to say the word, not condemn the word. No, but I was raised in the Holy Ghost filled church. So was I. I'm Pentecostal. I'm Kojic. I get it. I get all of that. I get all of that tea right there. I get it. Understand? I get all of that. But he said he came to save the world and not condemn it. And if he saved one of the two thieves on the cross when they were about to take their last breath, then that means it didn't matter how he walked before his death, as long as he accepted him. So can you chance it like that? I'm gonna say it again. I don't care when your light comes on. I don't care when you get it, as long as you get it. Because that's how Christ is supposed to be. He saved the thief. He saved one. He saved the one who believed and acknowledged him. And the other one was saying, say man, hey man. Say man, hey man. If you are who you say you are, get down. Shoot, take me with you. I don't believe all that. Why you hanging up here with us if you who you say you are? Ain't that what happened? Ain't that what happened? What you mean I'm not? What you mean, Queen, I'm not? I don't know what you mean. But ain't that what happened? He said, say mine, hey mine. If you who you say you are, get us down. Why we still up here, man? You got all that magic. Yeah, y'all better get back in y'all word if y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Don't play with the devil. Make sure you leave this earth and your babies. I mean, if you don't want to do it for you, do it for your babies, because your babies going where you going until they're at an age that they can accept Christ as their personal savior. Let's go.
Christianity's feet to the fire. After 10 years, that both of those became sort of played out. And we were looking, as Obi-Wan Kenobi suggested to Luke Skywalker in the first Star Wars movie, to take a first step into a larger universe. So the Temple of Set exists.
You believe a soul cannot
explore the self, the personality,
sold,
and we do this through the media of ancient Egyptian religion, which we found to be the most sophisticated.
Okay, hold on. Okay, now, Lisa, is that Lisa? Lady Love, are you trying to have church? What you mean you don't believe a soul, but I also believe a soul cannot be sold, cause what? Great conversation, T. Stepper. Okay, get the likes up. What you mean a soul? You don't think somebody can play with the devil or make deals with the devil to compromise their soul? I think Trump sold his soul to the devil. And that's why he said ain't nothing he can do to make it to heaven. I mean, you still on earth. You are still on earth. That means that you have done or said or went too far. Cause so that means that you sold your soul for money. I don't care if he think he Hitler. I don't care who he think he want to be. I don't care if he meant it. I don't care about none of that. Look at Michael Jackson. He sold. I don't necessarily think Michael Jackson sold out. I think he gone because he didn't sell out. I think Michael Jackson is gone because he didn't sell out. Okay, only thing, I don't know what you mean. I think I don't believe that he did. I don't believe that he did those things with kids. Now, my only concern, if I'm gonna go there, I think that he was still tied to the same machine. And the machine, it was some things that the machine wanted him to do that he did not do and would not do. I think when they brought those charges on him was because he refused to play the game the way they wanted him to play it. And because he was kid-like, he wanted to take Greenland for the news on now. Yeah, I don't want to stop for Greenland. I just don't. I just don't. I'm talking about joining the industry cult. Oh, yeah, see, and he didn't. Now, only thing that scares me about anybody, I don't care if they Michael Jackson, I don't care if it's somebody in my family. It just scares me spiritually when people die and they were of another religion. And because I don't fully know their religion, he said he's taking it by force. Yeah, I know, Satoria. I'll catch it at the end if I have enough time. My likes are not up enough for me to stop where I'm at to go over there. Because if the military takes that route with them, shame on them. Shame on them. That man Congress has already told them, do not take unlawful orders. So it's going to be A Few Good Men. Is that movie where he says that you can't handle the truth? Yeah, I mean, so at this point, what I know about Trump and the politicians and the military, as far as I'm concerned, they all in business together. And if they take the military, take those orders and they're unlawful, shame on them. And I hope that the big takedown will include them as well. And everybody that I know that's in the military, I pray that you do not take those unlawful orders. That's just my take on it now. They unalive Michael Jackson because they own half of Sony. Exactly. Okay, Big L, that's what I'm on with that. Now, my only concern about his salvation is he was a Jehovah's Witness. And I just had a family member that passed that was a Jehovah's Witness. So all I can do is pray that before it was over, if they do not believe in Jesus Christ, that they got that together before. Even Princess Diana, I remember when she passed, I was like, ooh, that was kind of scary. I don't care how nice you were. I had these conversations. It don't matter how nice, how sweet, and how loving and caring. Okay, so why you didn't love Christ that way? Enough to accept him. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I practice. Okay. Yeah, I don't know enough about it, and I'm not trying to offend anybody, so please don't take it the wrong way. I don't know anything about it. I'm not trying to learn about it. I'm just it just fears me. And again, I've had a family member that recently passed, and I believe I felt the same way when he passed. It just brings me to fear. And I think they say that they believe in Christ, they just don't believe in the pagan holidays. But I don't know. I don't want to go off into that because I don't like really touching on stuff I do not really know about. But that's my only fear about Michael Jackson. But I do think that it was about Sony. Yeah, that's and not about kids and all that type of stuff. I just don't think Michael Jackson had it in him to sacrifice kids like that. I mean, because it is awful. It is awful. It's just even awful to think about. The sacrificing. Prince as well, yeah. And Lady Queen Diana. Was she a queen? Yeah, her too. I think she was sacrificed.
So what you see in the Temple of Set is not maximize your personal, and we do this through the media of ancient Egyptian religion, which played out, and we were looking as gives us freedom of decision, of conceptualization, the intellectual life force. The Church of Satan, of course, had a certain social criticism aspect to it, and it also like to hold Judeo-Christianity's feet to the fire. After 10 years, that both of those became sort of played out.
So they're by force. Y'all hear that? They are by force.
Kenobi suggested to Luke Skywalker in the first Star Wars movie to take a first step into a larger universe. So the Temple of Set exists to explore the self, the personality.
No, I think Bill did it
through the media of.
I think Bill Cosby, Uncle Bill. Yeah, no, I think Bill Cosby. If that's what you're saying, Uncle Bill, Jello Pudding. No, I believe he was involved too. I think that. Yeah, I think Uncle Bill, was a dirty old uncle. I think Uncle Bill was that dirty old uncle that put the niece or put the little girls on their lap, and bounce them up and down and be trying to slide his old hand. Yeah, I believe he had already pled guilty before and took a deal. So there's just no way around Uncle Bill. I don't care nothing about who he was about to buy or what. He had already pled guilty, already had a deal, had already been in trouble with that. And yeah, so NBC, ABC, all of that is cool. I get it, but he had already been implemented and tried for it before, and he took a deal. And it was supposed to have been sealed. And we would have never known anything about it until he did it again. Yeah, no, I can't give Uncle Bill a pass. Uncle Bill is the dirty old uncle. He was in a position. Uncle Bill now is reminding me probably of Clarence Thomas. He was the accepted token. He also kind of reminds me of Diddy. He was an accepted token who went too far or didn't do it exactly as he was supposed to do it, you know. And then when he got in trouble, and they could have set him up. They could have set him up. And then they left him hanging. So I see more Bill Cosby and Diddy, because he was one of the good old boys until he did something. So did he do it? Was he doing it? Yeah, he got comfortable. Absolutely. So now I can't give Uncle Bill Jello pudding. I can't give him a pass, but I can give one to Michael Jackson.
Ancient Egyptian religion, which we found to be the most sophisticated. So what you
I think they was talking.
Set is not anything with an agenda towards good or evil per se.
Okay, well, let me hear this again.
Suggested to Luke Skywalker.
Okay, let me listen.
The Church of Satan, of course, had a certain social criticism aspect to it, and it also liked to hold Judeo-Christianity's feet to the fire. After 10 years, that both of those became sort of played out. And we were looking, as Obi-Wan Kenobi suggested to Luke Skywalker in the first Star Wars movie, to take a first step into a larger universe. So the Temple of Set exists to explore the self, the personality, and we do this through the media of ancient Egyptian religion, which we found to be the most sophisticated. So what you see in the Temple of Set is not anything with an agenda towards good or evil per se, but rather towards understanding consciousness, and once you understand consciousness, to maximize your personal use of it in such a way.
I hope Camille didn't know anything about that.
Be slave to conventions or to propaganda of any sort, for that matter, so that you are in effect a god yourself, responsible for your own decisions concerning matters of good or evil or morality.
I don't see why he would be disqualified to join the military. I mean, it sounds like he's committed, and yeah, this is what's going on. It's so important for you guys to recognize this, because there's been so much gaslighting. They try to call people crazy, and when they describe these things, and they're telling you this is what's going on in Hollywood. And I just hope that as we have been going through these series, and that's why I think it's so important to, rather than keeping up with daily news, be focused, actually.
Them eyebrows the folk don't have to have.
You're distracted, you're talking about a bunch of things. Let's actually stay on one topic and follow it to its end. And every time we do this, we end up here, where it's very obvious whether we're talking about becoming Brigitte.
I guess they may call that church. The church is the people. So I guess they place of worship. I don't know. Listen, I don't want to. I just know enough that I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to know how they operate, why they think the way they think. I don't want greed to make me feel like I need to have a talk with him. Let me try to hustle the devil. I think some people do try to hustle the devil, thinking that they hustle game that tight, and they get in there and they make deals that they think that they're gonna be able to get out. And the devil look at them at the end like, I'm coming to collect. You thought I was playing? You thought I was playing? Nigga, I wasn't playing with you. Yeah. And people seem to only think that there is just hell. I mean, we gotta dig deeper off into that. It ain't just hell. You think hell is hot? There is a whole past hell is a lake of fire. So there are steps. There are levels to hell. I was like, wait, what? Wait, what? What? I mean, what? So it gets hot. I mean, like, what does that feel? I mean, what does that feel like? So there is a place, a final resting place past hell. Now I'm just trying to imagine that. I don't play with none of that. I don't want to play with none of that. Most I'll say is, what's that? You step on a crack, you break your mama back, and that's just kid talk. Crack a mirror, don't brush, don't do nothing, don't put, all those little superstitions. Yeah. But you know what? You gotta move past that. I mean, even if you feel like that, I mean, you don't want to break no glass. I mean, I think the one that I probably I don't know. I just didn't want a chance is that when somebody sweep dirt up under your feet or the broom hit your feet or something, to be like, oh, no, that means you going to jail. I don't want to play with none of them things. None of them little sayings. Don't play with me about casting no spell on me. Don't even pray. If your heart ain't right, don't even play. Don't what's that other one when people splitting the fence, splitting poles. Yeah, come back. I ain't finna come back. I done walked already past that. I ain't finna, please. Now what's gonna happen if you split a pole? What? What's gonna happen? All those little you going way back. Baby, you walking with somebody down the street and you split that pole, they be like, you need to come back around. You come back around. I'm not gonna do that. Stepping on the crack, you break your mama black. I'm remembering as I'm standing now. I'm superstitious. What? All that, if the broom hits your feet, you going to jail. All of that, kids games, absolutely. But as a kid, it grows with you in adulthood. So that's what I'm saying. Even like that, I'm like, we got to move past that. I believe in God, and I'm finna pray that, Lord, please, now God, Lord, Father, thou art with me. Please don't let me have to go to jail. Cause somebody broom, don't let the broom hit my feet cause it's dusty and it's nasty. How about that? Not because I'm finna go to jail. Well, what did I do? I ain't break the law. What I'm going to jail for? 60s, 70s, and 80s. Yeah, black cat crossing before you and all that type of stuff. No. I don't want no black cat, white cat, gray cat. I don't want none of them walking across my path. But those are little sayings and stuff like that. When it's raining and thundering, the devil making up with his wife, or the devil and his wife. There's a huh? The way it's going now, hell, the devil ain't got no wife. These men, I mean, let me stop. These devils nowadays, this shit I heard last night was horrible. And these men have wives. They have wives. Ooh wee. And what's that man, Andy Biggs from Arizona, took pleasure in beating him, cracking ribs and shit on a kid, fighting for his ass. Yeah, nah. That's the devil. Ain't nothing Christ-like about none of it. None of it. And to think these are lawmakers for real, judges to the highest level.
We have been going through these series, and that's why I think it's so important to, rather than keeping up with daily news,
on his stomach. Specs, Trump on his, before that, they unalived the girl that he was having sex with. At this point, the boy was just a freak. He just, but at least it was with a girl that had been, trafficked. They went in and unalived the girl because Trump wanted him. And they said, if you fight him, give him a hard time or whatever, this is what's going to happen to you. For Trump. And he had already saw the evilness, the hierarchy of Trump in this organized crime with kids. And Trump laid on his stomach. He laid on his stomach to get it. Yeah, I was playing about what I thought happened since he was on Bill's pickle. Shit, I wasn't wrong. I was not wrong. What I said he probably did back there with them big ass hips, he laid on his stomach for it. Ooh, I was waiting to hear him say, and then he kind of popped that ass up, but he didn't say that. Sent Trump's ass to the hospital. Diaper, that is why. I said, oh, well, that's why he can't hold that shit. I mean, I don't know where he got that from, but he rammed that. Yeah. Y'all got to get y'all membership. He rammed him with a wooden stick up his rear end. Oh, no, he's worse than that. Because how the young man put it is that it was as if Epstein worked for Trump. And I understand that because Trump, that's in his lineage, his granddaddy had hotel brothels. Let me finish, y'all. Let me finish. But he put stick to ass on Trump and rammed it, kicked it. He said he kicked it. And Trump had to be care flighted. And they took turns from more than one farm beating him.
Be focused, actually, because even that is ADHD. You're distracted, you're talking about.
And that Biggs man was. But what did he say about Jim Johnson? Because he said he was a wrestler. Oh yeah, he couldn't protect himself from him because he was a wrestler, and he ran and grabbed him and overpowered him as a kid. And took him.
They try to call people crazy. And when they describe these things and they're telling you this is what's going on in Hollywood. And I just hope that as we have been going through these series, and that's why I think it's so important to, rather than keeping up with daily news, be focused, actually. Because even that is ADHD. You're distracted, you're talking about a bunch of things.
Biggs too. Biggs too. Biggs, that's the one from Arizona, right? Yeah, because I had to look at him. He looked like he was foreigner, but it said he's from Arizona. It was, but Biggs, I thought, was the one that broke his ribs and almost killed him. Specs. And his daddy said, well, you said I can do whatever I wanted to with him. So I think the most violent ones was Biggs and Johnson. But I thought, yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Topic and follow it to its end. And every time we do this, we end up here, where it's very obvious, whether we're talking about becoming Brigitte, we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and now we are talking about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and Faith and this guy that's on the board. We always land here.
Stop. Monty. OG Sicario. This tea is deeper than what hers? The tea is deep. That tea is Biggs and Johnson and Trump. Yeah, but I don't remember him saying that Trump beat him the way. He was just saying how violent Trump was and how, as far as unaliving people and the kids and animals. I may have missed it, but I don't think he said that Trump put hands on him like the other. And once he did what he did to Trump, all of them took turns at beating him. But he did say Trump was violent, and but he liked to ill. Trump liked to ill. See, that's why Epstein was saying Trump was worse than him. Trump liked to unalive. He's a sociopath for real. Like, well, animals. That type of stuff. This is allegedly per his encounter. Oh yeah, it was bad. Speck said he looked at the Epstein files. I kept hearing you say that once we got off, that you look at the Epstein files a whole lot different now. I agree.
Here. Okay, this is not a satanic panic. This is history. What he's referring to, and if you are my book club, we've spoken about this at length. I keep telling you guys about the
I don't forget what the
and I just hope that as
Hold
we
on,
have
y'all.
Good or evil or morality.
I don't see why he would be disqualified to join the military. I mean, it sounds like he's committed, and yeah, this is what's going on. It's so important for you guys to recognize this because there's been so much gaslighting. They try to call people crazy, and when they describe these things and they're telling you this is what's going on in Hollywood. And I just hope that as we have been going through these series, and that's why I think it's so important to, rather than keeping up with daily news,
how did they
allow focused, actually, because even that is
far?
ADHD. You're distracted. You're talking about a bunch of things. Let's actually stay on one topic and follow it to its end. And every time we do this, we end up here, where it's very obvious, whether we're talking about becoming Brigitte, we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, and now we are talking about Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA and Faith and this guy that's on the board. We always land here. Okay, this is not a satanic panic. This is history. What he's referring to, and if you are my book club, we've spoken about this at length. I keep telling you guys about the Frankists that came, right? The Franklin cover-up that came to America. They say, oh, this was a fringe cult. No. These people have always been in power. They've been backed by the bankers. And what he's referring to, what they follow is the Egyptian Book of the Dead. They've kept this, okay? This is what they follow, spells, rituals, and they do believe in the self. They believe that they can make themselves gods by violating nature. So part of their ritual is to harm the innocent because that's unnatural. It's unnatural to harm a child, and that's what they're doing. I want you to know that. I want you to just put that in the back of your mind and to pay attention to that, and why I urge you guys to get your children out of these schools. I really mean that. Because we are, I think, as a society, waking up all around the world to the fact that these people have always been in power. And it's pretty scary that they've been in power, they're in charge of our military. Psychological operations. So in 1986, regarding this guy, the San Francisco police began investigating allegations, not surprisingly, of sexual abuse in connection with the Army's Child Development Center, which is based, I want you to just put that in the back of your mind and to pay attention to that, and why I urge you guys
why we heard somebody who said, oh, my behind the scenes that says that kids are a target. They want the kids. They want them for sacrifice. They want for the abuse. They want kids so that they can get closer to whatever it is that they believe in when they take their lives, Yeah. What happened to him? Oh, yeah, when he gave them the finger. Yeah, they done raised $150,000 for that guy who lost his life for calling him a pedo protector. And I said, no, he ain't no protector. He one of them. But shout out to you for standing up. Yeah, called him one. Called him one. Yeah, everybody ain't down with that. A fool. Stop going to places and think everybody's scared of you. That's going to be like, oh, yeah, hey, Donald. No, you are a protector. You're a PDFer. And you are a protector for your homies. Yeah. And he gave him a finger talking about you. He should have said, now you and your mama, whoever birthed you, nigga. Your mama, your daddy. That's why she didn't like you. That's why your brother poured the mashed potatoes on your head. Yeah. Everybody ain't going there. Ain't nobody scared of you. He lost his job at Ford. Shame on Ford. But he was making behind the scene deals with Ford. Get out them F-150s, 450s, 250s, and all of that type of stuff. Yeah, he lost his job. He on suspension. They have already GoFundMe over $150,000 for him. Shout out to him for standing up to the PDFer.
Okay. This is what they follow. Spells, rituals, and they do believe in the self. They believe that they can make themselves gods by violating nature. So part of their ritual is to harm the innocent because that's unnatural. It's unnatural to harm a child, and that's what they're doing. I want you to know that. I want you to just put that in the back of your mind and to pay attention to that, and why I urge you guys to get your children out of these schools.
Absolutely.
I really mean that.
I get it now.
Because we are, I think, as a society, waking up all around the world to the fact that these people have always been in power. And it's pretty scary that they've been in power, they're in charge of our military. Psychological operations. So in 1986, regarding this guy, the San Francisco police began investigating allegations, not surprisingly, of sexual abuse in connection with the Army's Child Development Center, which is based in San Francisco. A girl came forward in 1987, and she identified him, Aquino, as the culprit. An investigation was launched. The police believed she was telling the truth, but they had to close the case because of insufficient evidence that was found. Even though she was able to describe the house where she was taken to, they said there was insufficient evidence. Now, it's worth noting that Michael Aquino was trained at Fort Huachuca. Yeah, Fort Huachuca, as we've now established, is the hub for intel operations. And there have been a lot of scandals that have happened at Fort Huachuca. And man, did we all endure and survive a psychological operation when Mitch Snow came and told us that he saw Brian Harpole and he saw Erica Kirk at Fort Huachuca in the days leading up to Charlie's assassination, different days. But man, we were going, what is happening? Why do we feel like the whole internet is screaming at us? Yeah, well, that's the home of Army intel psychological operations, and you should know that. Anyways, we now should discuss why it's just so hard For Turning Point
Yeah,
USA
but are
to
they
stay away.
are they MAGA though?
Showed you this chart from these trafficking connections, and you're just not going
Guardian
to
of
believe
pedos.
a
Yep.
relationship that they are not severing. I just find it weird, like
I
where
hope so, Monty.
they're having discussions about whether or not they should let Tucker
Freedom
speak
of
on this
speech.
stage. But
Trump
I want
not
to have discussions.
special.
Like if I'm a board member, I don't think they're going to consider me for it. But I'm open to it. Turning Point USA, I'm open to it. Shoot my shot. I would want to talk about some of these pastors.
For to lose on
that are
that,
welcomed
people
onto
stop
the
buying
Turning Point
Ford.
USA stage. We'll talk about that more after a brief break. All right, you guys, I've spoken about Nimi Skincare before. It is what I use. It's a brand that I genuinely trust. Annually, end quote. The wellness company's compounded ivermectin and membendazole Candace at checkout. Now, I do not claim to be a public relations wizard. I don't do PR, certainly not. If you Google my name, you'll see. I don't care so much about it, but what I will say that is if a 94 TikTokers were out there making videos about me, accusing me of trafficking children from Romania, I would probably do my very best to stay away from the theme of trafficking and to stay away altogether from the theme of Romania. I just wouldn't even fly over the country for a little bit.
I get it. I
But not
agree.
Erica Kirk, because she's got Andrew 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝 as your PR. And he's like really smart,
Oh,
live
wow.
texting people getting caught, doing stuff behind the scenes, which is why she's soon going to be speaking with Greg Laurie's Harvest Church for Turning Point USA's Faith Make Heaven Crowded tour. Okay, I can show you that. I think we have that here on the website, so you can see it. This is a real thing that's happening, and they're partnering with the Harvest Church to do this. It says that she is going to be speaking in live streamed in Orange County. It's Harvest or Gloria's Harvest Church for Turning Point USA's Faith Make Heaven Crowded tour. Okay, I can show you that. TikTokers were out there making videos about me, accusing me of trafficking children from Romania. I would probably do my very best to stay away from the theme of trafficking and to stay away altogether from the theme of Romania. I just wouldn't even fly over the country for a little bit. But not Erica Kirk, because she's got Andrew 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝 as your PR. And he's like really smart, live texting people getting caught, doing stuff behind the scenes, which is why she's soon going to be speaking with Greg Laurie's Harvest Church for Turning Point USA's Faith Make Heaven Crowded tour. Okay, I can show you that. I think we have that here on the website, so you can see it. This is a real thing that's happening, and they're partnering with the Harvest Church to do this. It says that she is going to be speaking in live streamed in Orange County. It's Harvest Orange County Church. Now, what's wrong with this? In case you are wondering or have not heard what is going on with Harvest Church and Greg Laurie, here's an article which tells us that Greg Laurie, there's been a number of lawsuits filed against Harvest Christian Fellowship, the founder, Greg Laurie, and also the church is related to alleged abuse of young men at a children's home in Romania. Okay, there's 12 lawsuits actually. The original lawsuit was filed in September by two men claiming that Paul 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝, he is a former pastor and a missionary at Harvest Christian Fellowship in Riverside, California. So that's that area where they're all from. Colvette's from there, that area. He's from Santa Barbara, actually. McCoys are from there. And they're alleging that he abused them at a children's shelter in Bucharest, Romania. The allegations include children being tied to radiators, being made to kneel down on walnut shells, being touched inappropriately, and being pimped out for sex. Now, the number of litigants, as I said, has risen to 12, and the law firm that's representing the survivors said in a news release that they're expecting 23 former residents of the home to bring complaints. The most recent complaints were filed in November. The court documents claim that Greg Laurie and the Harvest Christian Fellowship sent funding to 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝, which they obviously did send funding to him while he was there, and they were negligent in supervising him while he was there, despite reports of abuse. And so he's offering back that, that's a past evidence of the home to bring complaints. The most recent complaints were filed in November. The court documents claim that Greg Laurie and the Harvest Christian Fellowship sent funding to 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝, which they obviously did send funding to him while he was there, and they were negligent in supervising him while he was there, despite reports of abuse. And so he's offering
Again.
back that, oh, well, that's a pastor that we were funding. It's not the entire church. You know, it's not fair to come after the whole church for what Paul 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐝 is being alleged to have done. I'm saying this is just too many times for me. I don't know about you guys.
What about
I'm getting
Verizon? I just got a
Romanian
message that they having an
trafficking
outage. Satori, what's happening with Verizon? Candace be on her shit. Yep. Yep.
church. You know, it's not fair to come after the whole church for what Paul 𝐓𝐫𝐲𝐽 is being alleged to have done.
Yeah, I just got a message.
This is just too many times for me. I don't know about you guys.
Ronald, if you want me to see your comment, you have to put it on a super chat or super sticker. I mean, you want me to stop and acknowledge it, put it on a super chat or super sticker. If you notice, I see those immediately, but that's the best way. And I don't see it. I don't know what your question is, but it may be, yeah, I don't see it. But if you want me to see it, the easiest and the best way is to put it on a super chat or super sticker. YouTube may be holding it. I don't see it.
And so he's offering back that, oh, well, that's a pastor that we were funding. It's not the entire church. You know, it's not fair to come after the whole church for what Paul 𝐓𝐵𝐲𝐽 is being alleged to have done. I'm saying this is just too many times for me. I don't know about you guys. I'm getting Romanian trafficking fatigue. Okay? I'm getting Ukrainian, Romanian trafficking fatigue. It just can't be that all of these military people that are adjacent to the military, go out there in a place where they're perfectly safe. Actually, they're quite immune to prosecution because that's the deal that gets struck up between the governments is like you can do whatever you want on your base. And I'm going, what the heck is going on here? So I reached out to some people that I know, and I say, what is this strand? I don't know much about the military. Why does this keep happening? And what they told me, and this is also proven currently right now, a bunch of South Korean women have filed a unprecedented lawsuit against the United States military for the same thing, for running a brothel where they are stationed in South Korea. And so what they are telling me adds up. It's tracking. What they say is, okay, think of a military base. Anywhere in the world, you have a bunch of men who do not have regular access to women. So in those circumstances, and you also have a bunch of people that are at the top of that military who, I don't know, maybe could be a bit like Aquino, some satanic tastes. Anyway, they tell me is that they will typically send someone out who will be a woman, so think of like a Ghislaine Maxwell, to go out and to find them their interests, their tastes, young women that can be manipulated. That person will often describe themselves as a casting director to go out there and to tell the women to come onto the base. Once they're on the base, anything can happen to them.
Right.
Like I said, they are afforded no protections from their government, and our government is not going to prosecute the men that do anything on that base. That's how the typical deal works. And yeah, I don't know. Just like from a PR perspective, I'm not so concerned about why it is that Tucker Carlson, who just believes that we shouldn't get involved in wars, just like Charlie believed, is speaking at Turning Point USA. I am kind of concerned why all of these pastors who seem to be rehabilitating pedophiles are welcomed. It just feels like a thing easily to say, we're just not right now, Greg Laurie, until we get to the bottom of whether or not your church was more involved than these people are alleging. Because it's interesting that he's not saying it didn't happen. He's saying, well, it's not the whole church, just this pastor.
Oh, yeah, no.
Anyways, we'll continue to follow that lawsuit, but I find that to be pointedly absurd. And this is Turning Point Faith in a nutshell, which I am an enemy of. But if you would like me to do your PR too, here, shoot my shot. You can pay me. I'm definitely, I think, more capable of an Andrew Colbert at this, and I will tell you to just stop doing that. I'll just maybe just stop working with creepy pastors. That would be a start.
Right.
Not a finish, but it could definitely be a start. Anyways, before we get into some of your comments, I do want to acknowledge the fact that Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, died 68. I mean, what a brave battle fought. He kept up his show every day as much as he could when he had the strength to. On X, we were all watching it, and he did say that he was coming to the Lord before he passed. He lost his battle with prostate cancer. He was just 68 years old, so it's very sad. Anyways, before we get into some of your comments, I do want to acknowledge the fact that Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, died 68. I mean, what a brave battle fought. He kept up his show every day as much as he could when he had the strength to. On X, we were all watching it, and he did say that he was coming to the Lord before he passed. He lost his battle with prostate cancer. He was just 68 years old, so it's very sad. And I think I shared with you, everyone has stories about him and in their political life, and I think about that magic of the Charlie Kirk moment and the Kanye tweet, and like I told you, watching Scott Adams explain it on a little whiteboard of what had happened when these two things were not supposed to happen. Entertainment is speaking, and politics, and now he's ripped a hole in the universe. And so Scott Adams gets to see Charlie first, and he was a very honorable man, and I just wanted to acknowledge that. And for all of his loved ones that are going through this, it's very hard. Even if you're expecting it, it is very hard to go through. So say a prayer for Scott Adams and his family. We're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back.
Yeah, so, all of this wars and rumors of wars and this right here, there are things happening today that didn't go Trump's way. And every time it don't go his way, he gets closer to pushing a button. So I'm going to have to expect that. That's why I'm not going to stop every time, because that's intentional with him. I mean, we should have known he was going to do something when old boy called him a PDFer, lover, or predator. And he had to, people talking about him giving the finger and saying, "Uck you." Oh, yeah, that pisses him off. I mean, so I'm just not going to jump to every time Trump do something unless, as far as starting a war, he's going to do that. If he know he's about to be taken out, he's going to take people out with him. Period.
Kiss Bamboo. They keep me warm and cool at the exact same time because they're breathing comfort that makes every day and offers a fixed rate. /Owens. Okay, you guys. I was very sad yesterday that I didn't have my mug, but it was actually just upstairs. It's cute, right? Conspiracy Girly. We have new merch on the website. You can also buy this mug in 2 different colors, or you can buy a hard copy
of the
autographed book saved by the Loch Ness monster that lurks in Washington, and our government must take a stand to protect. Must put an end to this immediately. Comment from last episode. It's from Sparkle Me Silly, writes, Israel calling out citizens in America by their name and labeling them their enemy is so disturbing. President Trump must put an end to this immediately. He won't. But this needs to be taken seriously and action taken against these evil, ruthless invaders. If we allow such behavior from any foreign entity, then our government must take a stand to protect American citizens, no matter who it is. They're not going to do that. Nope. We are not going to be saved by the United States government. We are not going to be saved by the Loch Ness monster that lurks in Washington, D.C.
Right.
That is why I say to you guys, rather than feeling hopeless, make your communities smaller, get your children out of these schools, pay off your debts, stop gambling, stop giving to the things that they have created to enslave us. Make yourself, as much as you can, be sure to buy yourself some property. That's what they want. They want to buy up everything, or they'll blow it up, or they'll burn it. And that's the best thing to do is to realize what you can do. Okay,
this makes sense. He's panicking over Epstein survivors. I thought about that a while ago. I meant to say, if he got word of what old boy is saying, if Trump has gotten word about old boy Riley telling all the business is that he gonna be ready for war, and he had to get patched up and packed up back there for laying on the stomach. He walks, he talks, he crawls on his belly like a reptile. On his belly ass up. He's a bottom. He's a bottom. Yeah. He's a bottom. Back bottom. Yeah. Yeah. He backs that thing up. Them big ass hips. Yeah. Yeah. That will be enough to make him want to push a button. If that comes out. Well, I was just, and why I said that, because I got some stuff over here, but one of them said, oh, where's it at? Oh, it refreshed. I should have hit it. That Trump is upset because of the survivors. I don't know why I didn't hit it. Survivor. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it's getting out. And I told you somebody sent me a word about another one. So, yeah. And he mentions Trump. Yeah, it's coming out.
Which is what we have done as much as we possibly can. It's not easy, but slowly by slowly, inch by inch, increment by increment, you can just remove yourself from this matrix, right? Remove yourself so that they can't just do these things to us overnight, which they're doing overnight to other people. And we are a big country that helps us, you know. What are we, 370 million people in our population? So it's a bit harder for them to murder us all, which they would. That's why they prefer the method of vaccines and making us sick and polluting the air and chemicals and things of that nature. But the good news is that we are awake to it. We are awake to it. And by the way, use your speech while you still have it. How you spend your dollars actually matters.
You retracted it.
Next comment is from Anthony Aguilar. Candace, this is Anthony Aguilar. We mentioned him yesterday. You guys will recall because he sort of rang the alarm on what was happening in Gaza. He went on Tucker Carlson's show and then he was attacked and he spoke about Johnny Moore and the fake Gazan humanitarian aid that was really just kind of
Don
Palestinian
Lemon.
children
Okay,
and
hold on.
Women.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, he mad, y'all. Hold on. Dang it. I was trying to get out of here. My lights ain't up, but I want to hear this. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah, the message is out. Oh, yeah. Naturally, Nolans. I'm seeing it. Hold on. Let me hear what Don Lemon is saying. 5 hours ago. Oh, yeah, it's out. It's out. Yeah, I missed what other guy said, but oh, yes, sir. Let's hear this before I go. Oh, yes, sir. It's out. And they laughing. Let's go.
People to get the wrong idea. He's a married man, and so am I, and not to each other. Okay, so
we'd be a power couple on Substack, Don.
Oh, that's what they was like.
Substack power. Well, you're crazy. Regardless of whatever platform that you're watching us on, whether it's Substack, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whatever, smash the screen, hit the thumbs up, the hearts.
They
all
still
of that,
voting to take war powers away from
all
him.
of our platforms. So thank you for joining us for this program of sliding into your DMs. So here's to. Can we talk about this? This is so ridiculous. They want to. The Congress wants to interview, or they have subpoenaed, right? Bill Clinton, former President Bill Clinton, to speak or to be questioned in front of them. And it's like, why do you want Bill Clinton? Like, what is going on here? We are literally in the other. We've jumped the shark, and we're on the other side of the mirror, whatever you call that. You know what I mean?
Well, I think Republicans are. Yeah, they're singling out Bill and Hillary Clinton. They're the only ones who have been subpoenaed and asked to testify, and I think it's a Republican attempt to distract from Trump's involvement in the Epstein files. They want to
Yeah.
make Clinton the scapegoat so Trump can get away with it. And Clinton yesterday was like, no,
Nope.
we're not going to do that. We're willing to testify publicly, and we're willing to testify when everybody else testifies, including Trump. And I think that's a pretty reasonable position from the Clintons. I think they should testify because Clinton is in the files. I think he needs
Right.
to answer for that. But so is Trump. So Trump needs to answer for that under oath. And like,
First.
he can't avoid this anymore.
Well, I agree 100%. But the person who really needs to go in front of Congress is Donald Trump.
Absolutely. He's the
And we're-
president.
So James Comer is saying, and I saw that soundbite. A reporter said, "Well, why not Trump?" And he said, "Trump has answered all these questions."
No.
What?
You
Trump
crazy.
hasn't answered any questions.
No, and he's never been under oath either, which I think is important. The guy lies like 10,000 times a day, so we got to get him under oath to talk about his involvement with Epstein. And we've seen in those leaked depositions from a long time ago that when he's under oath, he talks very differently. And it's
Absolutely.
much more intentional.
And he'll plead the fifth.
You know what I want to? I agree with what Bill and Hillary Clinton said, but I also agree with Bill Clinton. With his initial response was, just release all the files. That's it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't have to say anything or do anything. Just release all the files. He's not the one out here saying don't release the files. Donald Trump is the one out here saying don't release the files.
That's what, that needs
Right,
to
and
be
so,
under oath.
I think when other people, you're right. When other people speak, when Donald Trump speaks, I believe that Bill Clinton should say when Donald Trump answers questions in front of the Congress or the Senate or whoever it is, the Judiciary Committee, whoever it is, then I will do it as well.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't really have to do it after that. He can just say.
No, I think he should answer questions. I just think it should be only if everybody else is going to do it too. Like singling him out is bullshit.
Absolutely.
And just crass politics from the Republicans. They're trying to turn this around into a benefit for them, but it doesn't look good for anybody when 1,000 young boys or girls have been abused and trafficked and nobody's held accountable for it. So.
Why do you think
And it says over here, Trump panics after judge demands answers over Epstein cover-up. That was an hour ago that it was posted. So yeah, we're gonna have all of that this right here because shit is leaking. And the unsealed documents, yeah, a public record.
Well, I guess you're right. I was going to say, why do you think he needs to answer questions? Because I don't see his information, and so far in anything that I've seen released, like you see pictures, they're out of context or in a pool or whatever.
Right.
But I don't see anything in what has been released so far that would force me to believe that it is, it is of utmost importance that Bill Clinton
Right.
goes and testifies or answers questions, but it would be good if he did, and I think it would help with,
Picklegate.
obviously with transparency. But so far, the most incriminating things I see are for who.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody needs to testify. I think
And
everybody's got
now,
to answer questions about their involvement. Like
is talking.
It's not, to me, it's not partisan politics. Like obviously, I'm the partisan hack on the
He
call
laid
here
on his
working for the
stomach,
Democrats, but
waiting
like,
for it.
There's so many people who've been hurt, trafficked, and it's important that we get to the bottom of this. And it's more important they release the files, in my opinion. Like not releasing the files is a sin, and they're continuing to conceal it. I mean, that auto worker got fired yesterday for calling Trump a pedophile protector, but he was 100% right about that. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
The auto worker got fired? I didn't know that. You give me
Suspended.
suspended. For what?
Calling Trump a pedophile protector.
He is a pedophile protector.
I know.
Absolutely.
Apparently, you can get suspended for telling the truth.
Is there outrage behind it? Because I'm outraged.
Yeah, there's a GoFundMe page that they launched that's already raised $200,000 for him.
Oh, good. I don't want to.
Well, the guy was. Here's the thing: Donald Trump is never confronted like that. Donald Trump only does friendly media, or he does it in front of the White House press corps. Reporters that he knows won't push back, or if they push back too far, then he will call their bosses and try to get them fired, right? Or they will lose access. But he never is in front of the public, and either he's at an event at Mar-a-Lago, or he's at a Trump rally, or he goes to his golf courses or wherever it is. But he goes to very Trump-friendly places and very Trump-friendly media. And so to be called out like that in public, if he were actually out there amongst the people
Justice
all the
for
time,
Sascha.
he would get called out a lot more.
Yeah. Well, and
They're protecting him.
if you watched it, like he was for a while going to like every sporting event.
I want to just rush to it real quick,
for him, and he was showing
I don't
up
know
at,
where
like,
it's at.
pro wrestling events and the Super Bowl and college
Y'all
football
get the
games. He
likes
stopped
up.
doing that, and the reason he stopped.
I'm
is
in
he's getting booed everywhere
overtime.
he goes. So anytime he's close to any regular person, he gets a piece of their mind on the economy, on foreign policy, on Epstein, and he can't handle that. I mean, he's the vainest, tiniest man who has ever sat in that chair.
Yeah, now
By
France
far.
is delivering
Nellis, let me ask you,
warnings
so
to
what
Trump.
is it? What the gumption that James Comer would have to subpoena Bill Clinton and not Donald Trump? What is that? As I say,
Because he's the sitting president. He's
What's
a
wrong with
sitting
those
predator.
people? I'm not a Republican, but
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I just always want to deflect when you want to start talking about me being white. So, because I'm as I've told you before, I'm Italian. To Stephen Miller, I don't count as white.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I think it's a pure politics play. They think that anytime they can bring up Bill Clinton's name, it's going to make it look better for the Republicans that they're fighting the good fight on the Epstein files. But it's all baked in. Like, they have completely, totally fucked themselves over on this with the way that Pam Bondi and Trump and the rest of them have handled it. So there's really no getting out of it. But it's to gin up the base and just give them another story that makes it look good for them. But no, they should subpoena Trump. And Comer's saying you can't subpoena Trump.
It's a guy. He was trafficked. He's a survivor.
That's what I mean. And I think the Democrats on the Oversight Committee should force a subpoena on Trump.
And
they should do what they
he
did
named
before
names.
to even force the investigation.
Satoya, he named names. Oh, I wish you were but it's all finna get ready to come out. But he named names. And he absolutely named Trump. He absolutely named Lindsey, Judge Clarence Thomas, Jim Jordan, and Andy Biggs. He named names. And and he got his revenge on Trump, but they beat the shit out of him. I mean, he had to be kind of like carried out. Yeah.
In the first place.
I was surprised. I was watching a report on it as I was getting ready for my live this morning, and I clicked on to something. And when James Comer said, "You can't, y'all know you can't subpoena or question." I think he said like question a president, a sitting president, and nobody said no. That's not true. Like no one said it, and there were like a panel of people, and I'm like, "That's not true. Of course you can."
I need to move past this part of it. Come on now.
I mean, you absolutely can subpoena a president. I mean, that's trying to cheat, and we all fucking know. We all fucking know what he's done.
Well, if verified and have not been authenticated by any courts of law enforcement agencies. Scandal, Jeffrey. And so Sascha Riley, an alleged Epstein survivor, testimony, a number of audio recordings reportedly from a man that I looked at it this morning, and I said, I maybe I'll report on this. I'm not sure, but let's see. I want to make sure that I get a couple of Republicans like Jim Jordan. And
oh yeah, let me go back. Yeah. I'm trying to catch it at the beginning.
Name, and it's been on my list to like look it up, but
it's a bit sensitive.
Okay. In the cookie jar, and I see you, like I'm gonna know that you stole a cookie. Trump's got crumbs all over him. He's a slob on this stuff. So
okay. So
get the likes up, y'all. Come on. Oh, I need to get off of it. Okay, what did I do? Oh, I went back too far.
Exactly. That's what I said to him. And so, I guess you get your hand in the cookie jar, and I see you, like I'm gonna know that you stole a cookie. Trump's got crumbs all over him. He's a slob on this stuff. So
okay. So I want to ask you about this, but it's a bit sensitive.
Okay.
And have you seen this thing? It's going around the internet. I don't know what's true and what's not. This Sascha Riley thing.
No, I've heard the name, and it's been on my list to like look it up. But I get a lot of people who are commenting on it. I haven't seen like a major media outlet really report on it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen a major media outlet.
What's going on? What is it?
It's gone viral. It is this guy who is a member of the military, and apparently he's saying that he was trafficked. Was a kid trafficked when he was a kid, and that he is implicating a couple of Republicans like Jim Jordan and Donald Trump and others. I haven't looked at it. I looked at it this morning and I said, maybe I'll report on this. I'm not sure, but let's see. I want to make sure that I get it right. Here it is right here. And so Sascha Riley, an alleged Epstein survivor, testimony, a number of audio recordings purportedly from a man named Sascha Riley have surfaced on social media making claims about the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Jeffrey Epstein was seen, let's see, the scandal. A number of audio recordings reportedly from a man named Sascha Riley have surfaced on social media making claims of Jeffrey Epstein scandal. However, the claims made in the recordings remain unverified and have not been authenticated by any courts of law, a law enforcement agency.
Thank you, Satoya.
According to social media posts, Riley is a war veteran who fought the Iraq War and claimed that he escaped being trafficked as a child. The recordings appear to be a conversation between Riley and an interviewer. The other man in the recordings asks Riley questions about the scandal, and Riley appears to testify what he knows. And so let me see what it says here. I just want to get the people who, the folks who are in here, so I can tell you who he's implicating. But anyways, the thing is, so it hasn't been verified and hasn't been authenticated, but it has become a social media thing. It has gone super viral.
Yeah.
It has gone super viral. Yeah.
I mean, until it gets verified in some way, I would just kind of caution everybody to be careful with that stuff. But
I believe it.
To me, it's the consequence of them not taking this investigation seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, it's two administrations, in my opinion, that have not taken this seriously, because Biden, there was no indictments under Biden, right? And they didn't release the files under Biden. I think that's a fair critique. Now, they weren't finished with the investigation, but I think we've had multiple administrations that have not investigated this the way that we should. Nothing like what's happened under Bondi, where she's just straight up covering up for the president. But
Hollywood is a place where are sacrificed.
They'll never say that, y'all. Y'all know that.
Trafficking that kings and queens.
But listen, I put out enough little shorts that somebody picked it up. I'm telling you, I started getting likes on those little shorts, so I knew that it was gonna get legs and start walking. I knew that because I got likes from people I ain't never seen before. Yeah, I knew that it was gonna get feet and grow, start walking. Let's go.
Believing rumors on the internet, but people don't trust the government right now. Why would they?
Most of the people say that. Look, the people who I have watched on social media, they do caution. At least they have some, sense to caution and say, I don't know if any of this is true. You tell me, but it is bubbling up. And so I'm coming at it from why has this garnered so much attention? Why is it that? And is it actually in the Epstein files? There are people who are saying, it's actually in the Epstein files. In the Epstein files. But I don't know. It's this is a tough one.
I would guess if they were actually in the Epstein files, we would have seen them in that first tranche, right? Or are they saying that this leaked and it's in the files that Bondi?
It was unsealed,
I think it's been there for a while, but no one has really paid attention to it.
It was sealed.
That's what they're saying. And apparently, look, it's bizarre because I should. Apparently, there was, it was like a snuff thing, and somebody was shot, and that. Listen.
With the names that came out, it has been sealed. The reason I can't, because he don't know nothing about it. And so the reason now we are hearing about it because those sealed documents just got unsealed. Remember? With the Supreme Court clearance, Jim Jordan. So names came out with it. Who not too bright? Yeah, so the names that Thank you, Satoria James, for subscribing and becoming a tea sipper. Well, you're a tea sipper, but you know what I mean. Thank you. Woo, she got a star by her name. She got a star by her name. She got a star by her name. Let's go. Woo! Welcome to the Palace, Precious. So yeah, with those names that we have never heard was associated. Now, we had that one lady. She was on somebody's show that she said that there are names, well-known names that we know of that has never come out before. Let me go and ban you. Let me go and ban you because you steady trying to. I told you yesterday not to do that. This is not about Biden. Now, until Biden's name comes up, yeah, we're not going to do that. So, yeah, oh, well, she's showing you those icons. You get your mug, choose your mug, and choose your coffee. I mean, your teacup, your teacup. So, yes. So, the names that came out, we would have never known. I think that was why it was so kind of hard for me today to know that, oh, yeah, boo. Look, there go one of my shorts up there, right there. Let me see. Right there, I put that name on it. Sometimes I don't be having time to do it like that. I put a name on it. Y'all see it? Supreme Court of United States Judge Clarence Thomas was there. I put a name on it. I survived. I put a name on it. I survived President Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Judge C. Oh, why it just keep doing that? Yeah. I survived them because those names were not brought up before. We knew that they were protecting him, but there, Andy Biggs and Jim Jordan. I forgot to put a Lindsay, but he didn't remember if Graham did anything to him. He thought so, but he didn't remember. Oh yeah, I put names. I put and I meant to put it on others, but I lost track of time. But hold up, watch later. Let me see, because there's another one that I may do it separate. Since Specs said I need to do another one. Yes, ma'am. I don't trust easily. I trust you, Auntie. I'm here to stay. Thank you, baby. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So, okay. I do have another one from the same lady because remember she kind of paused it and they did. It's not long though. It's short, but with that, it was another one that popped up. 3 hours. I'm gonna make sure I saved it. I got it pinned. But just so y'all know,
very successful company, you know. At one point,
this guy right here was the first one who went in there and broke it down for the tea sippers. I would never ever forget this guy. So I sent her how I think, what I hear, how I connect my dots, how I process. And I don't know if I need to play this again so that people who wasn't here will understand where I'm coming from. Also, why certain things about this trafficking stuff, I'm just not going to tolerate. Because this guy right here set the tone for all of this. So even when I was listening to this guy last night, I thought about what he said. And this guy went undercover to bust I think it was Colombia, where this child trafficking ring was on the elite. So for y'all who didn't see this, I may need to resurface this again. And that was my plan, was to do a part 2 of what we did last night, members only, to bring this back. So that now that more stuff is coming out, we can line it accordingly.
I had 2 helicopters. I had a house with 10 bathrooms, 8. He said, I need you. Could you be in Colombia in 2 days? He said the head trafficker has a piece of property. He wants to develop it into a child brothel sex resort.
Right there. Did y'all hear that? So this was the first time I had heard of anything like this. So when I start hearing brothel, I remember him. Do that make sense? So y'all may need to hear this. Y'all may not have been here when I played it twice. But this guy right here, so this is how.
The trafficker has a piece of property. He wants to develop into a child brothel sex
Didn't Candace just talk about how everything is about buying up property, buying property. Real estate and hotel brothels. Rebuilding, taking over, stealing land. Everybody is trying to get an island. And we watched that one little clip where they had a sales pitch, and he was selling islands. And that man said, well, do the kids come with the island? And he told him surrounding areas where you could go and kidnap the kids, Philippines, Cambodia, he named off some places where you could go and grab the kids to bring them to the island. Yeah.
Resort. He needs a few $1 million to build it out. He believes he can make tens of millions of dollars.
Trump. All I could hear was Trump.
He wants to. Said, I need you. Could you be in Colombia in 2 days? He said the head trafficker has a piece of property. He wants to develop into a child brothel sex resort. He needs a few $1 million to build it out. He believes he can make tens of millions of dollars a year.
But isn't it illegal there? They're allowed to do that?
It's illegal most places in the world.
Yeah.
But
where he wanted to do that?
Well, here's the thing. There are certain countries, and I've been working in Colombia for the last few years and helping to change laws and policies. Here, when I did undercover work in Amsterdam,
brought the resort, sex trafficking.
Why? Because prostitution is legal, but it is very controlled. Right now, I'm not a fan whatsoever.
And when you listen to Sascha, he said that Trump was in control. Trump was leading this. Trump was the big guy. And it all made sense. So I totally understand why we're just now hearing this, because when Marjorie said, oh boy said, my friends. Yeah, that's them folk that beat this young boy. Beat him because of what he did to Trump. Their friend. Yeah. Trump is the leader. And I always come back to that. Epstein said that it was Trump who introduced him to the trafficking. He also said that Trump was the worst. So Trump is the leader, and that these people bought into it. I think that's what that meeting that he had with Diddy was about. Let me let y'all hear a little of this. So I may have to come back.
It has killed so many families. However, this is what I wrote to the Senate in Colombia. If you are going to legalize it, it has to be controlled, because if it's legal to have prostitution and you don't have the girls checking in and having verification of their ages and stuff, it is wrought for opportunities for traffickers to traffic children without consequence.
God, it's away.
Yeah, this was an island that he wanted to build it out on, and this was outside of
Island. We've heard that before. They're selling islands. Y'all better stop. So I just need for y'all to understand that this is what I center what is true and what is not true. Whether I'm going to believe it, if it connects dots. Because as far as this trafficking goes, with the child trafficking and the resorts, the building, the land, the hotel with brothels, it's all centered around what this man went undercover and found. Even I was saying last night in the members only live, was that when he described that little boy that he was hell bent on saving, who was so scared that he asked for 𝐷RUGS to endure. I promise the little boy, that's all I could see when he was describing what was being done. It was horrible. I know Trump is scared. I know Jim Jordan scared. I put Johnson as Jordan. Biggs and Clarence Thomas. I know they all scared.
Cartagena, you literally at the time, you could walk down the street. You'd see police officers over there.
Two questions. Epstein's Island. Was there any jurisdiction over that island at all? Was there any supervision, any control whatsoever?
The interesting question. So back, yes and no, right? They're back at the time, back even 5, 6, 7 years ago, doing my undercover work. If you went to another country or you went to an island or whatever else, and you did something horrible with a 12-year-old, you would have to be prosecuted in that country in order for you to, the only way to be prosecuted in the U.S. at the time is that we would have to prove that you while in on U.S. soil, made the decision to go to that other country to do that horrible thing with that 12-year-old. Some of our people helped to make changes in the law where now you go anywhere in the world and you end up with a 12-year-old in that situation. You can be prosecuted in the United States, even if you're not prosecuted there, even if the laws of that country don't prosecute. And so it's amazing that has happened, because if you go rob a bank in South America, you can't get arrested and go to jail in the U.S. for robbing a bank down there. You have to be prosecuted
by
land
in other countries.
But if you go down there and rape a child, absolutely. The very second you come into the U.S.
and build them brought the Trump Towers.
Your sentence, if they did prosecute you down there, you finish your sentence there, you come to the U.S., you get sentenced again.
When
here.
Diddy, at one point, when Diddy was doing his deeds, he was doing them in Trump Towers.
U.S. person that you
Nope.
abused.
If you're a U.S. citizen and you go anywhere in the world and abuse a child, you can get prosecuted.
Is that a recent law?
That's within the last 5+ years. So,
During Trump?
Huh?
During Trump's administration?
I bought a yacht. I bought another jet. I says, would that make me happy?
Let me.
And the first trafficker I met was a business owner. He was clean cut. He had a polo shirt, clean shaven. The second I met was a beautiful woman that worked with a modeling agency.
Modeling agency. Dun, ding, 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 ding. Modeling agency. Do I need to? Have I?
Just were they married?
No, they were there working together with different, you know.
But I'm saying neither one of them had a family.
No, but yes, the businessman did.
He did.
In fact, what was interesting is between the time that I first met him and that when the sting went down just a few weeks later, I was texting back and forth with him to make sure that he was bringing, you know, all of his inventory, et
Beauty
cetera,
pageant modeling,
make sure he had so we could
Epstein.
rescue him, right?
The modeling and his friend in Paris.
One of my texts with him, and I talked about this in the Sound of Freedom book that's coming out.
Melania.
He sends me a picture of him.
Listen, y'all.
3-year-old daughter.
Listen, y'all. Listen to this, and then I'm gonna play this later. Listen, I gotta eat. Listen.
Daughter in his back seat. Now, he wasn't trafficking her yet, but over time, most of these traffickers end up trafficking their own kids.
Trafficking his
Absolutely.
daughter?
So many times these traffickers end up trafficking their own kids when they get older. He wasn't trafficking her yet, but what he said, this was so interesting. He said, he sent me a text, and he said, after he had sent me that picture, and I was just appalled.
He said 47.
He said, Pablo,
Get
they called me Pablo.
His
He said,
stomach.
Pablo, he said,
Was like,
I'm showing you my
no,
picture of
I
her so you
started
know
screaming.
why I'm doing all of this. I want to buy her Ferraris and make
I
all
don't know
this
why
money
I
for
told
her.
you
He said,
if-
I believe that God sent you to me.
They play on God. Y'all see?
What
Y'all do
goes
y'all
through my
see the
head is,
similarities?
You're right.
They play on
God
God.
did send me.
Yeah.
Right? So I could make sure that child in
Oh
your
yeah,
backseat
but I told
never
y'all he
has to go through
if
what
he
these
eat
children
Bill
are that you're
Pickle,
trafficking.
he took it up the.
Did you tell him that?
No, of course I didn't.
Later on?
You talking about no?
My gosh. What kind of people are these? They got children and they're going to traffic other children, maybe their own?
And then he said
Well,
God,
I'll tell you what
and
we
the
would've
way they
done
play
that.
with
I don't know
God.
if you know my background.
Oh yeah, I do know your background, and that's what I felt I wanted to do. I was that very first meeting with these guys. I'm sitting there. I've got a Navy SEAL that's standing behind me. He's my real bodyguard and my show bodyguard, right? And he's standing behind me, and one of the traffickers leans forward and he goes, Pablo. He said, I have a gift for you. I said, really, what's your gift? This is our very first meeting where we're negotiating this party. I'm telling him, listen, I'm willing to fund your project under one condition. We're going to have a party in about a week. You're going to bring all your existing inventory. If I'm happy with what I see, I'll fund your resort. We had to get him to bring all of their children to one place at one time so we could rescue them.
So did he think you were buying them for your own personal use, whatever you were going to do?
I told him I was giving him $500 per child just for 2 hours in the afternoon with them. That's why I was paying him, right? But really, it was just so that we could get him to call the other traffickers, get them to bring all the children together.
That was the scene in the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So that $500 for 2 hours. So that's what Sasha's dad, stepdad, orphanage dad, or whatever was doing. That when he said, "You said I can do anything I wanted to with him." So his foster dad pimped him and said, "You can do whatever you want to do with him." And then it's when he said, "But I didn't say kill him." So they could be physically attacked and sex. You can do for in that time period that they pay for, they can do whatever they wanted to do to Sasha. So when this guy went undercover, he was paying for $500 for 2 hours to do whatever. So Toya, I hope you have a strong stomach. Don't that shit. It is next level. I'm telling you, I was stung. I was kind of numb. I was kind of in the funk all day. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't want to go live. I didn't want to go live. I would have rather did this show last night as I planned to do. The tea sippers talked me out of it, kind of, because it was like too much. But I rather would have ended on another note than Sasha's, because it was devastating. Yeah. So again, when I hear this right here, he was paying $500 for 2 hours. I hear Sasha, Andy Biggs bringing major harm to him, and the dad saying, I didn't say you could unalive him, because he was broken down by a politician.
Their traffickers get them to bring all the children together.
That was a scene in the movie.
Yeah, exactly,
okay.
exactly. And so he was so excited I was willing to do that. He says, I have a gift for you. I said, really, what's your gift? And he hands me his phone. And there's a picture of an 11-year-old girl on his phone. He said, this is Princess. She's still a virgin.
Mm.
He said, he started talking about horrific things I could do to this little girl. And I said, if we could help rescue these kids before they're ever trafficked in the first place, that would be a miracle. And then something he said made me realize he had more than her. I said, wait, I said, you say you just took delivery of some? I said, you have more virgins? He goes, oh yeah, I got 3 or 4 more. I said, you're bringing those to my party too, right? He goes, oh no. He says, they're too
Remember,
too
y'all, when he said Trump came in and to the farm, and he was looking for who he could unalive, and they told him that this not that type of party. Y'all remember that? And then he was like, I guess he wasn't happy. But then this when they said, we got some puppies. We got some puppies. Yeah, so they have parties where they unalive them. So what he's talking about right here is that they was getting ready to have a party with the kids. And if we can remember back, I've touched bases on when they had all the little girls that was the little dresses on, and they was just jumping up and down like they was finna, have a little birthday party, and they were being chosen by the dirty old men.
So too expensive. I'm already paying this guy $25,000. I'm paying him $500 per child just for that time. I said, he said, Jefe, you already paid $25,000. He said, you want to fuck those other virgins? It's going to cost you maybe $2,000, maybe $5,000 for that little one. It's going to cost you maybe $10,000 more. Now at this point, Michael, I am legitimately pissed. No acting involved. He's talking about these children like they're commodities. I've got my really nice suit, $50,000 watch. I put my hands on my chest and I said, you don't think I can afford an extra $10,000? He said, oh no, Jefe, no. I said, I want every one of those virgins at my party. I said, they damn well better be virgins when they get there. They're not for you, they're for me. You understand? He goes, oh yeah, Jefe, I understand. This stupid smile on his face. Now, the Navy SEAL that was behind me cleared his throat, and I didn't check out the restaurant, make sure everything is safe. Later in debriefing, he said, you know what? He says, that little girl on that phone looked like my daughter at home. He said, I almost unholstered my weapon and shot him right there.
Maybe I told the dude to hold back.
Yeah. He said, but I knew if I did, he said, we would lose all those other kids.
I have a question for all my friends and followers. Have you tried my wine yet? Originated with all of what you've done?
In the Sound of Freedom. And one storyline. So we kind of put a lot of attention on Jim Caviezel's character. The truth is there was a lot of other operators that did some of those things. We just put all those stories together, right? And And the truth is, and you read about this in the Sound of Freedom book, where the jungle.
So like this picture right here, let me move it.
Not even in Colombia.
With Trump with this little,
that was looking.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, if I can, T-Sippers, when I heard Sasha bring up the little black girl, I thought about this little girl right here. I thought about this little girl right here. Because this is one of the pictures that was removed out of the Epstein files that they were looking for. You know why they was looking for it? Because old boy made mention of a little black girl that he had made friends with. So they get him all dressed up, all cute and pretty. And then they choose him. And remember, we kept saying, why is he saying, now this may not be, I mean, some people said this is another picture and they swapped the kids out or what have you. I don't know. But oh boy, yeah, I asked about that too, you know. But when he said that it was two girls that he made friends with, and one of them was black, I said, my. So they get him all pretty, dressed up. They all in suit and ties, like it's just like a big, like, so this is kind of like, you know, the auction or whatever. Let's listen.
For a little boy, not a little girl. There was, a lot of other operators went in dressed as doctors on different operations, etc. But the story, all those stories really happened. They just didn't happen as we showed it in the movie. But that first rescue mission, the Jim Caviezel's like, only way I can pull this off is if I can convince Pablo to help fund it and be down here. Well, I'm Pablo in real life. I was running a multi-billion-dollar investment fund. I had a special set of skills from a previous life that makes me somewhat safe in a dangerous place. I was a rich playboy full of ego and pride and arrogance and lust. That's what the traffickers were looking for, right?
Right.
And so in the movie, Jim.
Oh,
Jim
no,
Caviezel's
Mimi.
like,
No, ma'am, Mimi. No, he's not. It's bigger than him being a selfish child. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. It's way deeper than being a selfish child. It is way deeper. Did you watch? Was you in the live last night, Mimi? Are you a member? Let me see. No, ma'am. This don't have nothing to do with being a spoiled, selfish child. No. This is demonic. Way deeper than it's sick. It's not going to close. Yeah, no. It is absolutely demonic. It is not by being selfish, self-centered. Oh, no.
Picture of this 11-year-old girl to my driver, and that's what convinced me to go. In real life, I was already there. I was face to face with these traffickers, but him showing me the picture of that 11-year-old galvanized my commitment to help fund this, whatever I needed to do. Now, fast forward 2 weeks later, we're at this island. The traffickers brought 54 children. Now, we had 3 separate cities at the same time, a total of over 120 children that were at these 3 separate cities with these simultaneous operations going on. I was there in Cartagena. We're sitting there at this island. These guys bring 54 children. Almost every one of them were under the age of 16 years old. Some of them were trafficked from other countries. We put them in a separate place of the house because they're already traumatized enough. We want them seeing the guns and the money changing hands, etc. I'm sitting there on this chair, negotiating with these traffickers on their business plan.
Business plan.
Cameras capturing our entire conversation, so they couldn't come out later and say,
Business plan. I'm stopping because, T-Sippers, if we can remember, I've covered it in different ways in different places. So when I hear him now say business plan, it reminds me of when that clip when those guys was standing there and he had a little presentation, and that same guy, he was selling an island, and he said land, they selling land, and he said to him, do the kids come with the island? It's business. Trump trying to take over these different land, stealing, taking over, building. Jared Kushner's over in foreign land, and his sons are over there making business deals. Yeah, this is the takeover. Yeah. With our money.
Party, though, you said exactly why she was there, exactly what she was willing to do, and this was a dark conversation, probably even too dark for your audience. This was a dark conversation talking about exactly what they do to these children, what they're willing to do, what they're paying them, everything, what they're forcing them to do, etc. And so
you hear that's what happened right there to Sasha. So they tell you what they'll do, what you can do, right there. That's it. That's when the data said, he said, what's his name? Andy Biggs said, well, you said I can do anything.
Even too dark for your audience. This was a dark conversation talking about exactly what they do to these children, what they're willing to do, what they're paying them, everything, what they're forcing them to do, etc. And so and then
the devil, sickness.
One of the traffickers gets up and he said, Pablo, I have to show you the gifts that I brought you. This is the moment that changed my life.
Lord.
He went in the house where the children are. He was there for about 10 minutes, and we could hear some of the children crying. They were so scared of coming out and meeting the men who were supposed to defile them, right? And pretty soon they came out, and they had 4 virgins, scared to death. They had 3 little girls, old, and 1 little boy. This little boy was 11. He was taken from Haiti.
Oh, I was about to say, oh my God, this sounds but oh my God. Okay, Lord.
He was given cocaine that morning because he was so scared it was going to hurt. I mean, what kind of monster thinks that that's attractive? Every cell in my body wanted to just hug these kids and say, you're going to be fine.
I got that.
I say that. And I'm sitting on this chair, and they bring these girls out, and this little boy. And one of the girls was the same one he showed me on that picture. And she's standing in front of me, and she had red hair with braids down the back. Her shirt had a little kitty cat on it. She was 11. And her face had makeup on it that had been smeared. She had been crying. She was so scared of this moment. She thought that this was it. Everything in me wanted to just say, no, it's not going to happen. You're going to be fine. You're going to see your parents. I couldn't say that. I took her little hands. I'm sitting down. She's standing up, and we're eye level. And I said to her, I said, 𝐓𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐶, what's your name? She didn't answer. It's because her real name probably wasn't Princess, right? She was trying to figure out what the traffickers wanted her to say, and I just said, ♪ it's okay. I couldn't blow our covers that the agents hadn't come to arrest everybody. We were still sitting there in the middle of all these traffickers, and I said to the traffickers, I said, it's not time for the party to start. There was a delay. The delay in the movie wasn't because all the kids were there. They were already there. The delay was because some of the Child Protective Services people weren't there with the kids. And so I said, take them back in. We still need to negotiate our deal. And I'm trying to figure out how to delay so that they're not having these kids come out and be traumatized like that. And I said, you know what? I said, you've just proven to me that you could do what you said you would do. This is the inventory you said you had. I said, why don't, if you bring out these kids, you bring out this cocaine, I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna be fucked up for the next few days. Why don't we pencil our deal right now? I was simply trying to delay until the agents came. I had to bring out a notebook and a pen, and I started taking notes about a business plan. And I had negotiated hundreds of business plans in my career. This was second nature to me. But this one was like no other. When the inventory, when the product is children, the conversation gets really, really dark, really quickly. And I was delaying with this. Finally, the agent still hadn't come. And I said, I had this one last stroke of genius, really was God just saying, Paul, this is what you should say. I said, you know what? I said, and the conversation had gotten so dark, that I couldn't even breathe because of what they were talking about. It was literally a business plan about what you do to the kids and where you get them and how you, all of this stuff. And I couldn't even breathe. It was getting so dark. So I said, guys, I'm willing to do this.
They were allegedly renting them to you for a couple hours.
Yeah.
That's all this was.
Yeah, that's all it was. But it was for the purpose of me funding this resort for them so they can build out this business. And I said, look, you've proven to be all
Build
this
out
stuff.
this
You
business.
brought the inventory. You brought what we were looking for. I said, I'm willing to do this. I said, but I want 55%. You guys take the other 45, and I said, I looked at this.
I thought I had a picture of that family.
You're providing the land, and you put most of this together. I think you should get 30%. The rest of them can split 15%. There was a bunch of other traffickers there, and they started arguing. I thought, oh, good. We can stop talking about this business plan for a minute. And they started yelling at each other. I said, you know what? You guys figure out what that's going to be. We'll put it here. And it was an argument for almost 10 minutes. Finally, boom, the agents came, stormed the island, arrested everybody, us included. Bad guys think that we got extradited to the U.S. to stand trial. And at that point, they had taken the traffickers off. We were laying there in the sand. I went into this other part of the house where I could get my bags and stuff. And at that point, the Child Protective Services people were in with the children. And to calm them down, they were laughing and singing with the children. And compared to the crying I heard half an hour before, that laughing and singing, that sound of freedom was the most beautiful sound that I ever heard. I started crying. I turned to the agent that was with me. I said, bro, I spent my whole life making money, making rich people richer. I want to make a difference. I had a Lamborghini Aventador that I was going to buy that spring. I said, I'm not going to buy that car. I want to write the check instead. I said, what do you need? And he said, Paul, I can't teach my Navy SEALs how to wear a $50,000 watch to negotiate a deal like this. He said, sadly, it's guys like you who are the demand. He says, it's the Jeffrey Epsteins of the world, guys with big egos and big money and lust and greed. He says, don't take it wrong, but you're exactly what they're looking for. He says, if you're willing to be the bait, I'll change your whole life.
My friends, if you enjoyed this video.
Okay, y'all. So if y'all can understand at all where I'm at with that and how I line it up to what I believe, I center it around when I came across this and learned at that time how deep this stuff is, this trafficking is, how deep it is, and to what extremes they are going with the stealing the land, the buying the land, and building these brothels to look like a nice hotel resort on the outside, golfing and all of these extremities. But they have like a timeshare or a where they have these girls or kids, not just girls, these kids, that they can do whatever they want to within the hours that they have purchased. So when I listen to, there's another little girl, this little girl right here. Yeah, Lord. So when I listened to the story, I knew it was true because all I had to do was line it up to what the undercover agent had said. Now, I don't know what that is that they covered, but this is it. This is in the Epstein files as well. So when Trump lost that proceeding, is about keeping the documents sealed, a certain one sealed from they said what 20 from Jack. This is the evidence that Jack had, that he lost that appeal, and what was sealed was unsealed. We are about to see things that we never even knew existed, that haven't been talked about because it was unsealed. So the more that comes out, the deadlier Trump gets. But he is trying to steal land to build brothels that he's already made business deals. And it's interesting because he said he never saw Putin, but Putin was talked about a lot. Putin won his first term for him. I knew that he had deals with Putin, but I never would have thought traffic brothels and whatever, you know. But Putin was a factor for him. I don't know how Sasha and the lady gave him his props for being well spoken. I don't know, you know, how. I don't know. It could only be the grace of God. And just to think about the judge, you know, people that are cases where he's not a judge where he see people, I don't think. But just to know that there are people with mental problems because they've been traumatized, or some people that are innocent, that they are, it could be some kid that you know that you have tampered with. And you have such a disconnect with empathy until, yeah, Claudia, now we know the truth. It is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. You say, I mean, you know, this is why, listen, I've never experienced it. I know people who have been taken advantage of. I never would think that it would go to the extremes that we heard last night. But I do know that I have a passion for the rug. I hate the rug. If it's anything that I know I hate the rug. And I hate that everything that happens in our lives as kids, where kids are victimized or abused, it always appeared like the perpetrator was given a pass and the child who was victimized is shunned upon. And then the adult that you trust sweeps the shit up under the rug and it just stays there. And then they don't know why these kids have these problems or why they're acting out like y'all didn't think this shit through. So I'm going to always stand in the paint because I have empathy. I can imagine. Now, what happened to this young man, I cannot imagine. Just trying to imagine it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. But I'm going to always stand in the paint for victims. I'm going to always get up out my skin and be that Annie that comes with force. Say, back the fuck up. Because I can imagine the pain and hurt knowing that you were betrayed by somebody that you trust and love. And they just swept you up under the rug. It's bullshit. Yeah, I'll be back later. I'll be back. I gotta go.